Bye, we're live. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
2218's Weekly Attitude for Gratitude podcast.
Hello.
So, we've got a great show tonight. Matt, you got your phone on so you can hear that we are live? And then someone's music's playing, so let's quiet down our phones. But you should hear us live by now.
Yeah, you should.
No, that is not my phone.
Okay.
It's not mine.
Well,
I voted on me, but realistically,
hopefully we're live out
me.
there. So what I'm going to do is,
Don't answer the phone, man.
throw out some promotions here. And
Yeah.
2218, that's where we're holding this podcast. That just like every week, they're the ones who have a roof over our head and can keep us having meetings. We're not live. Awesome.
Oh, we are talking to nobody.
But that's good, though.
Hell yeah.
So whose
I do
phone?
it all the
Was
time.
that my phone I'm hearing?
No, that is not.
We're live.
my phone. Oh, see?
Perfect. All right, cool. We are live.
Good thing I didn't say nothing stupid. I was about to say some dumb shit.
All right, so hey, check it out. 2218, that is where our podcast is at. Tonight Matt stepped up and he's helping do some producing.
Thanks,
and
brother
he
Matt.
will put some links up. So if you're able to donate to 2218, it is
Do it.
greatly appreciated.
Do it.
It's an old building. We're doing what we can to keep up with codes, and we have lots to do around here. So
much.
no, we're all good. Look, we got words coming up. So here's the other thing, too, at 2218 is we have tons and tons of events that are happening and coming up in the future. Hey, co-host,
Yes.
cut that out.
Cut what
No, I'm
out?
joking.
That wasn't me.
You're good. No, you're good. Bob, shut up.
Boom shakalaka
I'm
laka,
joking,
boom
bro.
shakalaka laka.
Bob, which one? Which
We
one?
need to let
Yeah,
everybody
which Bob?
know that this is an interactive show, and everyone who's listening right now. Tad's not here, so I'm going to be filling in and saying some of those things that you usually hear Tad say, and some of those things you hear Tad say
Tadisms.
is that this is an interactive show. And what that means is everyone out there listening.
Smash the like button?
Yes, please do that as
Yeah.
well. We want questions to be sent in. We do. We try to get all the questions answered or at least address them. This is interactive, like I said, and we help each other out by doing that. This is a show where we're able to reach more than one person. If someone's struggling,
3, as a matter of fact.
please reach out because this is the avenue we take. And we network. It's basically a networking situation. So when someone's hurting or needs help or needs some other meetings or information, we can get that done right here, right now. So that's huge. That's awesome. That's part of this. The other thing is, like Rob was saying, smash that like button. But
Smash it.
share it.
Oh,
Share
yeah,
it with
sure. Yeah,
anyone and
that's what I
everyone
meant.
that you could think would benefit from hearing this show. It's a big thing to make sure that this is out there. Thank you, Matt, for stepping up. Be good.
You're a true American patriot.
You going to go meet up with them boys?
No.
All right, you go do you, Matthew. Thank you for stepping up.
You're a true American patriot.
All right, well, now the teacher's gone and we got this room all to our lonesome. So with that said, all right, interactive show. Everyone needs to basically do what they can to spread the word. We do recovery. That's what we talk about on this show, and we just want to make sure that no one is left in the dark on this. This is a great tool for recovery. So with that, we do want to tell everyone to smash that like button. And Rob, I'll leave this up to you to say them final words before we get to knowing each other.
Let's chop it up.
Yeah, buddy.
Ooh,
Chop it
up.
Bye out. So tonight, I told you guys last week,
Tonight.
we had special guests coming in.
And we're special, believe me.
all three of them. All three of them stood, they
Super
all
special.
came. Bob yesterday, Shauna today, and Rob today.
20 minutes
Like
prepare
they had
time for
no
me.
heads up on this.
Boom.
Unfortunately, the people that were lined
Just gonna
up
You
wing
think
it.
I'm prepared now?
just didn't come out. So, Bob, we want to say hi to the audience.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob, and I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I love being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And Shauna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hopping on and being with us tonight.
That's my girl. And hey, co-host, who are you?
Y'all know me, man.
What's your name?
My name is Rob, and I'm an addict. Yes.
I'm the guy that shows up once in a while.
You know what? In
every now
those
and then.
in the opening act in Act 1, I forgot to let everyone know my name is Tim. And if you want to reach me personally,
Timmy.
you can. And that you can find me on Facebook at Timothy J. Warren. Reach out to me. I will. We can. Whatever help you may need, I will provide. And if I can't find it, I will get the answer. I have
Drop the
Boom.
mic.
huge network out there, and I will be
So big.
I'm going to put my number in here right now. So everyone who wants to reach out can reach out if they don't,
Do it.
You can send me a
Do it.
direct message if you don't want your name to go out over the air.
Do it.
So with that, we're gonna chop it up.
Chop it up.
9942. There you go. My number's
Ooh,
on there.
Boom.
Get in there.
We
Hey,
got.
I'm waiting on the crank calls to come
Rip
in.
it and rip it, baby.
I know that like if I was in the audience right now, I'd totally be calling you like
Rob, why would you even give him my ideas like that?
because man, it's got to be fun, man. You
Hey
know
Rob,
I
if
would.
someone wants to reach you directly, is there a way they can do that? Are you
No, absolutely
Facebook?
not. No, yeah, you can hit me up on Facebook, but I mean, I got
Okay, yeah.
almost
You wanna
5,000
share how-
If you want to interact with me, I would suggest we can do so in a meeting.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Perfect.
or Facebook, but I'm not much of a typer. I would rather talk. I'm not very literate because I can type a text message that'll piss you off, not even meaning to. So I would suggest you just come to a meeting.
That's because you have fat fingers.
Yeah, sausage
I
fingers.
think that
We
went right
know
over your
about that.
head, what I
Yeah.
was trying to do.
I know what you were trying to do, Tim. It's okay.
Trying to help the audience.
I just went the other way with it. It's okay.
So I'm already getting phone calls. Oh my gosh.
See, told you. Dick pics.
All right, yeah, great. So tonight, let's kick this off with some recovery talk,
Kick
kids.
it.
Hey, Bob, do you have anything? Oh, you know what? Before we do that, there's this thing. It's called the Ride for Recovery. That is coming up here very soon. And I know, I think
Yes.
your wife's on the board of that, correct, Bob?
Yes, she is.
Okay, and what that is, it's the Ride for Recovery. Oh my gosh, the flyer. All right, here we go. It's June 26th, and it's Saturday, June 26th. Kickstands up at, I believe, 11 o'clock at St. Paul Harley or 10 o'clock here. Let me pull that up. I
Yes.
should have that right in front of me. At 2899 Hudson Boulevard, North St. Paul, Minnesota. I could just go through the whole reading, but you know what?
Readings for suckers.
You tell him, Bob. I got to get that separated. Bob S is
Rob.
here and Rob H is here, but I call Rob Bob.
We'll
all
both
the time.
answer. We'll both answer. It's
I'm
okay.
glad I'm not the problem.
Word.
Oh, I'm
Hey.
totally the problem.
You may not be the problem, but him and we're the solution.
Whoa, tootin'
Most
horns.
definitely, yeah.
That's so deep I had to put a snorkel on.
So yeah, Ride for Recovery. We will post up. I'm gonna put a link up there for Ride for Recovery. Other than that, let's get into some recovery talk. Bob, what do you want to bring to the
Bobby.
table tonight? And let's get kicked off, starting to talk about some recovery.
Well, as you all know, that first coming in the door, this recovery thing, and even so, once you get a lot more recovery in your life, you realize that this thing's not the easiest thing in the world.
Most definitely.
And it says right here on page 164, it says, abandon yourself to God as you understand God, which is something that a lot of us need in our recovery. I can't tell you what you need, but I need that in my recovery. And it says, admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. In other words, I need to have honesty, integrity, and clear away the wreckage of your past. Get that stuff out of the way and give freely of what you find and join us, and we shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit. And you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. So that's the deal. Trudging the road of happy destiny. Trudge doesn't mean to skip along your merry way once you get a little bit of recovery under your belt. This thing ain't easy.
right.
Trudge means to march, steady, a
Fudge's
steady,
cousin.
long march, and this thing's hard, But
Yes.
the bottom line is, if we commence shoulder to shoulder our common journey, which is being helpful to one another, and find and stick with the people that have found the solution and are living in that solution, the trudge doesn't have to be so heavy.
Yeah, don't make the trudge fudge.
You know what? I've worn out many a pair of boot trudging early on, boy. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, me too, man.
So
I concur.
You know what? On a serious note, what you're saying, Bob, like I firsthand, what I can relate to what you're saying, and I want to keep it to your side of the street with what you're sharing, but personally, what I can talk about is when you're talking about this trudging, like I think we've all experienced, like when it comes to doing the work of recovery, it's work. Like it's not just handed in your lap. It's not just because when I came in, I thought that's what it was. Like, okay, who's got that answer?
He had his lap open.
Well, it was more or less like I was expecting someone to give me an answer.
I need to catch this by osmosis.
Yeah, and that shit doesn't happen
It
that
does
way.
not work that way.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Boots on the ground.
You got to
and
get
doing-
beaten to submission when
Yeah.
you get here. That's how I got here. Like
Right.
when I got here, man, I was like, okay, like I'm about to die, so I will do whatever you tell me to do. You know what I'm saying?
But then the work starts. Like, and that's what I think
Absolutely.
you're talking about with trudging. Like,
Right.
like there is a lot of work ahead of us, and I know you've got quite
Always.
a few years, Bob.
Couple.
So like when you got into recovery, and I know you said you didn't get it the first few times. I know you
Took
was it
me
2
almost,
years,
almost
or-
3 years of relapsing consistently.
Right.
Yep, took me 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And was that what it was? Is that you just didn't realize there was work to do?
I wanted it, like you said, I wanted recovery handed to me. I wanted
Yeah.
to just be able to come in, sit down, and then I would see these people get 6,
Easier,
8
softer
year
way.
medallions, and I'm like, they're lying.
When they get
gotta be
multiple year
lying.
medallions?
Yeah, when they got multiple year medallions, because I couldn't get more than a week, 3 days. I'm being honest, when it was at the worst. And the truth of the matter was, I would see these people, and I would watch them, and I was just dumbfounded with how they were getting this stuff in their life,
And they were
being-
happy, too,
right?
right?
And
Yeah,
being
that's
able to
some
work through the.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's exactly
You
what
all
I-
sound some
I need to
bullshit.
call bullshit on this
Right.
one. I was telling a lot of those people,
Right,
you know, and they
right.
would just smile at me and say, "Keep coming back," and
Right.
I'd be
Smart
so,
ass motherfucker.
I was so bitter.
Right, right.
I was bitter and despondent.
I got a big taste of that from you in that men's group
Yeah.
back 4 years ago. You guys used to say, "Tim, just keep coming back," and that's those words. Well, a lot of times you guys say, "Shut up and listen," but a lot of the keep.
I
Coming
never
back.
did.
No,
I
no,
don't-
but
I'm
that
not
big,
one of those, yes.
No, you know,
We had- I know
we
what
had
you're talking
group,
about.
we had guys in there, but I needed that.
But we need to hear
it's-
that
it
sometimes.
depends on the the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, we need to hear that sometimes. So what ends up happening is we come in with this terminal uniqueness of I'm the only one that's suffering from this personal problem,
Right.
and everyone else doesn't understand the woes of me, and yet I'm seeing people coming in with worse. So no matter what I thought that I had going on, I would see worse stuff getting rectified, and those people staying sober, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how's this happening? How is this happening? And then it came down for me, it was full surrender.
Is that what it was?
That was- that just
surrender,
totally-
meaning like, all right, I'm gonna listen to someone else, or I can't fucking do it.
I wanted to prove this wrong,
Both.
so I came in, yes, and you're right. I threw my hands up in the air with full surrender of, you know what? I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
But I couldn't say that I was done. I just wanted help.
Right.
So I
Right.
came into my morning meeting and I sat down in tears and I said, I can't
Yeah.
do this. Will you please help me? And they said, yes, we can.
We've been trying for like 2-3 years,
Yeah.
but you finally gave in.
And I gave
right?
in.
Right.
I'm gonna
Do whatever it
listen and
takes.
do whatever
Yep.
it takes, like they
Yep.
said. And sure enough, that's when things started. I started listening better.
Right.
I started not talking so much.
That's how God
Right.
gift of desperation.
Yep, yep.
Hey, that'll get you listening real quick.
Is that what
really
it was
did.
like for you, Rob? Like you said, 5 years you were going.
Yeah,
like, you
I went to a Alano that like literally half the house was probably my sponsor at one time. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh well, it's the sponsor. He never answers his phone and this and that. You know what I mean?
You're always finding a.
Yes, and every time that I went out, I lost a little bit more. But you know, the thing is that every time I went out, when I came back, I became a little more willing to do whatever it took.
And I never asked for a sponsor. So those 3 years, I was too selfish and
Right.
too, you know what?
Unique.
I don't want them to bug me.
Yeah, I ain't no sissy.
I don't want, yeah,
You know what I mean?
and I don't want no
Right,
no
straight up,
babysitter.
yeah.
But when I came in and sat down at that meeting and surrendered and
Yep.
said, I need your help.
Right.
And then I looked over at a guy that I really thought well of, who had something that I thought he could offer me.
Yeah.
I said, would you please be willing to be my sponsor? And he said yes. And
So I'm gonna pick apart things you're saying, kind of, and I hope you're okay with that.
Get
You
at it.
said you saw a guy with something that you wanted.
I synced it.
We all are told, find a sponsor with something that you want. Like, and unfortunately, me on a side note, I thought that meant finances, nice car, like he's got a house, like that shit.
Yeah,
and I found
material.
a sponsor that way, but luckily
Yeah.
it worked out. I mean, there was a different history, but for you said you saw this guy, you respected him. There was something in him that you wanted. What was that?
He was still struggling, but trying to work on the solutions of his struggles.
And that's what you saw?
And that's what I saw. And I was very respectful of that because I knew I had my own personal struggles that I needed to get through. And I was really feeling hurt. And he was, I would call him sometimes 5 times a day. And I go, I know I'm bugging you. And he goes, no, it's okay. So-
Sounds like somebody else I know.
yeah, and and that's the way it worked,
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even trusting my own way of thinking and how I was processing stuff.
Right.
Because I'm like, My best thinking got me in sitting under the big clock downtown at the government center,
Right.
waiting to go to court on Monday. So I better ask this guy, hey, is this pretty good? And he'd say, you got a good idea? You better give me a call. You got a great idea? I need to see you in person.
Right.
Like, don't trust yourself.
Right.
So that's kind of what it was. Is this guy? You just had an ultimate respect for his decision making. I mean, his actions in life. I'm trying to pick apart why you said you saw something in him.
I saw him trudging the road of happy destiny because he was doing this with a grateful heart as he was going through his struggles. So that's trudging.
Yeah.
That's to march steady and
definitely know about
slow
that.
and keep going after it.
Yeah.
You know, and I just that's what made me really cling to this guy, and he's been doing it ever since. And I just love the guy dearly.
He's still your sponsor?
Yes.
Same sponsor?
Gary H. Yeah, he's a very good man.
GH.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Sauce. Like that's the
Yep.
beginning of your recovery. Like
Yep.
when it took off was you found that sponsor
Yep.
and you started working the program.
We started doing a little bit of stuff, but we went through the first 5 years of doing a little bit of this, but we were doing that. I call it rub your butt recovery, where you come in and
Pat your
work it
ass
off
there.
the wall, and you don't get busy and not knowing what recovery. I was only settling for the 15%, 20% that you get, you know, and I didn't realize you could get more. And then I heard about this big book study and action group, and that's when I called my sponsor and said, you know, we never went through the steps, and this is a way
You
to go through the steps. So, you know what? He goes, let's do that. And we did that, and we stayed the course, and we got through that, and that even made our bond even stronger.
Right. So you
So-
guys kind of grew together too.
Yes, we did. And ever since then, I mean, we both have a great respect for one another and for
Respect.
recovery.
Beautiful.
Right. And you know what? On a kind of a personal level with
Don't be
Bob.
hating, Shauna.
No, I can
I
say
know.
this much as I know.
Never hating.
20
I
plus years later, you still are trudging. Like Bob still he meets with guys every week. He takes guys through these programs. He takes them through these 12 steps and whichever fellowship he is taking them through. And like that's also kind of what the co-host does. Like he works with multiple guys. Like these guys are
Keeps
both
me clean.
Right?
There you
I
go.
don't care how you
It
do
helps
it,
me.
just do it. And the
Honestly,
bottom line,
I believe it helps me, or it helps me more than it helps them.
it has
I
worked for
really-
me 100% of the time.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
right.
a gambler, boy. I
Right.
love a sure thing.
Right,
Guess
yeah,
what?
exactly.
I think I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Right.
I believe like a lot of I hear a lot. What's up, JP?
JP.
Hodilla. So I do see, or I hear quite a few times sponsors talking about their sponsees and issues with their sponsees, and other sponsors and groups will say to them like, "Did you use during that time of having all those troubles with your sponsees?" And every answer is the same. It's nope. So like Rob said, like I never used. Like they keep me clean going through the book with someone like this program was set up by our predecessors for a reason.
Well, you know, and the thing is too is that like, you know, with sponsorship, like it's also helped me develop, you know, setting clear boundaries, you know, because realistically, like, you know, this is what I tell my guys is that like, hey, you know, like my only obligation to you is to go over the 12 steps. Anything more or less is a bonus, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'll do that. But like, you know, I'm not your bank account. I'm not your babysitter. I'm not your marriage counselor. I'm not this and I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? But I am also an ear that will listen. So there's like there's a balance
Well, on the
between
flip
there.
side, that's why I didn't want to ask you way back sitting at that breakfast spot. And I told you that. I was like, yeah, I need to go through the basic text, but I don't want to do it with you because you're my friend.
Yeah.
Like I had a fear that, okay, this is going to F up our friendship because now it's like it's almost like I was looking at it as like, okay, this is my boss now.
Well, it's like a
we
business
can't be-
decision. Yeah, it's basically that's what
and
it
that
is.
was my
basically.
fear. My fear was that, and you're like, nah, dude, we're just gonna do the steps. Like the only thing I have an obligation to you to do is take you through them steps.
Yep, that's it.
But I had this big old preconceived notion, like it's gonna F up our friendship.
Yeah.
Like the same reason I don't want to be in relationships. What's up, Shauna?
Hi.
How you doing?
How you
good.
do?
Hey.
You want to talk a little bit about any of your recovery? How did it start?
any of your recovery?
How did you decide to get into this fellowship?
Yeah. Tell us what happened.
If you're okay with that.
What happened?
If you want to.
What happened?
Right.
Otherwise, we can just keep talking
What
over it
happened?
You say like that.
I've been
What happened?
So, a little bit about my story. I've been trying to get clean for the last 13 years. I've basically been to a treatment every year. besides jail, I could never manage to stay clean. And the more and more treatments that I had went to, I learned more about myself. I learned what not to do that time.
Yep.
You kept getting
noticed-
something more each time you
Yeah.
That's how we learn.
Like
Is
And
the
I-
wrong way.
Yep.
And I noticed a pattern, and that's what's really helped me. That and getting real with myself and being honest, and actually willing to listen to what other people had to say, and not do things my way.
Yeah.
It sucks when you find that out sometimes. Like,
Yeah, it's a slap
like
in the
shit,
face.
my way is not ever gonna.
I'm not right.
Can't say ever, but like
I know
all
what
those
you
decisions I thought I could do on my own, they just never panned out.
No, every time I
Right.
take the wheel, something bad happens, and
How long ago was that for you? Like when? Can you recall? Like was it like a year ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago? What was it when you finally were like, I gotta listen to someone else?
24 months, 16 hours, 13 minutes, and 11 seconds
all right.
ago.
Some of us, that's what it.
Don't forget the nanos.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
I would definitely say the night I got arrested, as soon as they put me back in that cop car.
that old familiar-
Nudge from the judge.
I lean back. I'm like, okay.
Thank God.
I don't have to do this anymore.
You're like, I'm done.
and I instantly
Those words.
started
Was it like a
praying.
relief? Was
Those
it
It
like
words.
definitely was, and
That's what happened with me once.
Yep.
I
I said those same words.
went to a retreat in jail the weekend before they released me to Teen Challenge, and I finally gave all my power to God, and I had
God plays
a spiritual awakening, and it was unforgettable, really.
So God plays
Yeah.
a huge part of your story.
Oh yes.
Share it if you're whatever you're comfortable with. Share about it if you're okay with it. It's just share with Rob. Matter of fact, not me, with Rob. Share with Rob.
I
Don't
don't think
tell-
it makes a difference, to be honest.
I just want you to be
It
comfortable.
makes a whole. Look at this trustworthy face, okay?
Wait a second, we're going
This
down a
is-
trustworthy
Look at
face.
that not
He
trustworthy
wins.
face. No.
Bob wins.
That's a face only
What is-
his mother could love.
So what you're
Just
basically-
Look to me in this region right here.
Let's let Shauna go. All right. We keep humping over her voice. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So what you're basically asking is like, what's my relationship to him, or like,
Yeah.
what?
How does that play your part in your recovery?
It plays a huge part in my recovery, and this time around, when I find myself straying away from him is when I pull in even closer, because without God, like, I'm nothing. I should be dead. All of us should be dead, really.
Absolutely.
True.
He's gave me so many blessings in my life. Things that I didn't think would ever happen.
Like, what are some of the things? Like, I know, are you managing a sober, or what is your position right now in recovery? If you're okay sharing about that, because I know
Yeah.
that's huge. Like, you're helping women in the program.
Right.
Like, I'm here to pick your brain about some of that stuff. If you're okay with it.
I'm good. I'm
All right, so speak on it, girl.
So most of my life, I've always wanted to help people because I wasn't helped when I was younger. And I wanted to find a job that I feel like kind of just got handed to me. And February 1st, I started working for Navon Wellness Center. It's
Okay.
a treatment in St. Paul. I'm a sober house manager. It's completely changed my life. I mean, as of right now, I don't sponsor anybody because I do focus on, I mentor women.
Do you have a sponsor?
Yes.
Or do you work with someone?
Yes, Miss
Oh.
Gracie.
Oh, hey, Miss Gracie. Shout out, Miss
Seen
Gracie.
her last
I'm
night.
hoping you shared this with her, right? She listening?
Oh, yeah, she
That-
definitely is. Big
Shout out, Miss
support.
Gracie. She's one of the best cooks I've ever met in my life.
And I
Oh.
gave her a big hug last night at bowling.
Yeah, I like Miss Gracie, but okay.
Love
so,
Miss Gracie.
Like,
Yeah.
you're able to mentor women right now, whether you're sponsored or not. It's like you're helping women. That's huge. There's with women in the program, either fellowship, any of the fellowships, like strong women in recovery. It's needed, just like strong men too. But you don't see is No, I can't say that because I'm not around. Like, I don't go to women's meetings, of course.
Right.
Yeah, let's hope not, huh?
No, just outside the doors.
Oh God.
No, what I'm getting at is like that's something like not you know.
I'm just glad that you can be a positive influence for other women.
Thank you.
Yeah. Way to save him on that one there, Bob. Yeah.
Oh, I could have
Yeah.
went down a
Boom.
real long
I seen him
path.
drowning. I grabbed his arm. I grabbed him.
yeah, just pulled him right back up. That's great.
It's I.
And that's like that stuff I wanted to like have you share about because
Yeah.
I know there's a lot,
very
lot of
important.
women that go to you for advice or questions.
They
or,
do, and it's not just women. Like my dad comes to me
What's that
for
like?
advice.
What's that
Right.
like with your parents now? You're closer with them, or they're asking your advice.
It
Surreal, huh?
very
Yeah.
much so.
You're I was just sharing about this in a meeting about how like my role in my family kind of switched. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because like before it was like I was kind of like the black sheep, and then it kind of came. Now I'm the
you're
hero.
the voice of reason.
Yeah, no, I'm like the hero in some aspects. You know what I mean? So it's like like these problems. Like I don't. What?
Yeah,
Well,
I remember when I first got clean, like, my family, like, thought I was acting like I was better than them. And I never felt that way, but I did have to keep my distance from them. But over the years and over the many times that I've, gotten clean, they realized a lot, and they are very supportive.
Well, and our actions
Yeah.
speak louder than words.
Well, and I
That's
think
exactly it.
I think sometimes too is that like especially with loved ones, they watch us kill ourselves for so long that like for us to like do what we're doing. Like they
such a 180.
have a sense of understanding about like wow like because like basically what we're doing is like we're at war with ourselves basically, you know what I'm saying, and we are fighting a war against ourselves.
And we're
you know what I'm
winning.
saying?
The-
Yeah, and it's
the-
like
the-
because
yeah.
I'll tell you, man, like my brain fucking hates me. You know what I mean? Like it does. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
like
yourself
seriously.
from before though. It's not our active. It's from your active use you're in war with.
Self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because like, because I'm an addict, right? You know what I'm saying? And
No.
like, yeah. I didn't know if anybody knew this or not, but
Thanks for showing up.
yeah, I know you can't tell from this pretty face, but yes, I am an addict. Yes, but what I mean.
Just got out of prison.
No, man,
I'm kidding.
no.
He
It's
just
okay.
bought a Harley today. Back off.
But no,
We're gonna
what
be
I-
talking about that later.
Yeah, what I mean is that like so obviously like we have the disease of addiction, or at least I do, you know what I'm saying? And like whereas like because there's always that addict in me, and then there's always that like, hey, this new thing that I'm learning called recovery, and like whenever a situation happens, there's like 20 plus years of active addiction that wants me to act on whatever situation, and I got this 5 years of recovery that's like that I have to work hard, super hard in order to act that way. And I'll tell you, I fall short, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, but I mean is that, like, so, like, that's what I mean when I say that, like, look, I'm at war with myself, man, because, like, my first thought wrong, like that one dude says, it's more like all my thoughts, except for the last one or the one that somebody else had to tell me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Yeah.
I mean, that I'm at war with myself, because, like, that's the deal, is, like, my brain freaking hates me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was talking with another addict about that today. I was like, I think your brain hates you. It's, oh man, it's crazy. But I mean, like, I think that, like, because I mean, even us, even the non-addicts, like, like that see me doing what I'm doing, like like it's a big deal to them. You know what I mean? And like my sister shared it with her friends at work, and her friends at work were like, oh my God, in tears about my story, and I'm like, I don't even know these people. You know what I'm saying? But I bet you they're like, oh, look at them,
But that's the underdog story that a lot
Man.
of us pull out in our life, and people are gonna, at the very beginning, they're like, "No way!" I mean, that's the kind of guy that comes walking up your driveway and you turn your lights off and
Yep.
lock your door, and you
Most
ain't gonna
definitely.
be home. I
Yep.
ain't answering because I know what this guy can do,
Right.
or this person can do, and
Right.
Right.
and next thing you know, we're out there doing something totally different, and,
Right.
and trying to learn how to live in the solution and be helpful to others.
Right.
Whereas we were so full of self prior to coming in the door. That's the thing, is getting out of self, and that's what recovery teaches us.
Right.
Whether it be NA, CA, any of the A's, the truth of the matter is
Fucking A.
we yeah,
Hey.
and it's get out of our own way so
Yep.
that we can help others, and in doing so we're helping ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then next thing you know, that thinking, I still my first thoughts usually.
You know what I mean?
Usually
Like-
criminal.
Yeah, yeah, you know? Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and then I go, no, I got to back that up. And that's the cool thing is learning how to live in the solution. And if I don't have the solution, the healthiest thing in recovery is to call other people and find out who have found the solution.
Right.
Not, we speak from experience, strength, and hope, not what we think an experience would be if I have not yet experienced it. So if I haven't experienced it, I have no business talking about or trying to tell this person or relate to them. And next thing you know, they're going to get hurt.
Yep.
You know, and I've done that before early on. And now I go, hang on, I don't have experience in that. I'm going to make a few phone calls. And I ask people, have you ever experienced this?
Right.
Yes. Did you get through it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to get you in touch with this person. Boom, there's a solution for that person.
Right.
And, yeah, and the thing is, and that's the cool thing is we've got, you know, doctors, lawyers. I got Catholic priests in my corner. We are people who would not normally mix.
No.
But then among us, there's this common bond that we have of desperation.
Right.
And next thing you know, there's a solution offered. Here's the hardest thing that I don't like about recovery is people go, well, it's suggested. It's only a suggestion. You know what? The truth is, the suggestion is if you do what they did, the first 100 or whoever got success out of it, then you're going to get what they got. I would suggest if you jump out of an airplane to put on a parachute. But the most important thing is when you're out of the plane with the parachute, pull the flipping cord.
Tell him.
Right.
See, this is that pat your butt AA that pat your butt recovery that he was talking about. Like some get real down on, you know, it's only a suggestion. No, what he's saying, and if you can read between the lines,
solution.
There's a
The steps are
solution.
not
Do you want
suggested.
the
They
answer?
were done by the first one.
Yeah, like and I preach this every week. There's predecessors who did the work for us. You just follow those steps. They already set it up for us.
It's that simple, but it's that hard because guess what? Like Rob said, my head gets in the way.
Big time.
We make things hard.
Yeah, we make mountains out of molehills, man.
And then you
know what
also,
I mean?
like you said,
All
family.
day.
There's people,
day.
because the majority of people don't make it. The majority of people that try to stop don't.
Right.
They end up at those three places that every one of these books talk about.
Jails, institutions, and death. Yep.
Every time. Like,
Absolutely.
we are-
That's our options.
Yes, and
And
this
act
is
of
the
addiction.
success story when you can sit here and talk about your recovery. And that's, I believe, a big part of why you say you're always at war with your brain.
I'm not always at war. I'm just.
Or your
I'm
brain
just-
hates you, I mean.
Basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, in a sense, because I have to sit there and, like, and here's the deal is that, like, I know, you know, like a healthy way of handling things, but my brain is not telling me to do that. You know what I mean? It's really not. Like, the first is like, man,
It's
you
used to
punch that
chaos.
motherfucker in
It
the mouth.
operates
Yeah.
well in
Yeah,
chaos
you know what I
because
mean?
we're solution. That's our solution. We're problem solvers. So let me get into this next problem.
Yeah, let's
and
make
then I
it.
can
Let's
solve
make it another problem. Let's solve this
Right.
problem with another problem.
Right.
Because fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the thing is that's the hardest thing about it is my actions got me to where I was at, but then I would do foxhole prayers sitting in the back of that squad going, God, get me out of this, and I'll never do that again.
Right.
Right.
Well, that happened time and time.
I'm gonna do
and
it again,
time
but just in a different way.
Right,
Okay?
exactly. I ain't getting caught.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, there was lots of those in before recovery. There's
Right.
lots of those. I'm making agreements with someone other than myself that this won't happen again. Once you get to this point, though, once you get past that hump, that beginning hump where you finally did surrender, though,
No.
like some of the gifts of recovery, that thing that comes next, Bob, talk about that freedom.
Well, that's what happens. We start getting these little bit of gifts and stuff, and then we get a little bit of what's called self-knowledge. We start learning about self and how dishonest and selfish and self-centered and self-seeking that I can be. And then next thing I know, if I don't start working on changing that, then I start getting ego coming in going, oh, I've got this self-knowledge. I know what to do. I don't need to go to a meeting. I don't need to do this or that because I learned this. Such and such said over here in this meeting, well, I'm just going to keep practicing what that is and not do anything different. And next thing I know, I'm a worse case of self-inflicted gunshot.
Motherfucker.
I'm wandering around wounded, sore, and bitter.
I'm bleeding.
Yeah. And
I'm bleeding.
and wondering why it won't stop.
What happened?
You know?
What happened?
And then I start pointing fingers outward because I know that I don't want to look inward. And
Yeah.
that's the thing is we start, doing causes and all effects.
What
and
is
all
what
this
is that?
other
It's
stuff.
oh man, how is it put? The answers to the questions that you want to be answered most are in the least likely place that you would figure they would be.
That's
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That was a lot to
it's-
think about, huh, Shauna?
Yeah, it took
Yeah,
me a
it
minute, man. It
actually
took me. I'm
was.
like, how did I word this? Because it
Can you
was
say that again?
it was told to me in a different way, you know. But
it's like it's what he's saying basically is don't go looking for bread in the hardware store in the door hinge aisle. You just ain't going to find it there.
The answer's usually right in front of you.
yeah. Well, yeah, something like that, sure, you know.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, whatever. we'll allow it, yeah.
Right.
But I mean, no, it's just it's that's the truth. You know, when somebody told me that, I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've heard so much smart things that I was like, wow, you know.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it too, is that like this majority of it's recycled stuff.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like I can't be like, yeah, we do recover, and then be like, yeah, I copyrighted that. That was
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I coined that
Rob
phrase.
came up with that. That's Rob's deal, just to let you guys know.
I walked into an AA club and they got them a little cliche signs all around.
like,
you
oh,
know.
that was mine.
Yeah. And the one that said, think, think, think. A guy looks over at me. He goes, see that sign over there says that? I go, yeah, think, think, think. He goes, yeah, that ain't for you. Because I'm a thinker. And then all of a sudden I think.
Absolutely.
Right. And then next thing you know, my thinking was still very unhealthy. So next thing I know, I'm in that world of hurt because of self and self-knowledge, and I thought that was going to fit it and fix it. And the truth of the matter was, I was just another alcoholic passing through and not staying, and wondering why this thing called recovery didn't work in my life because I wasn't doing the action that it called. You know, we change our actions first, and then our thinking changes. Where a lot of people go to a psychiatrist to change their way of thinking and processing. But with us, recovery, the steps are steps of action, and they teach us these different actions of coming to believe that a power greater than a source could restore me to sanity, make a decision, which is an action, to turn my will and life over to the care of God as I understand them, and then going into a personal inventory. Those are all action steps. And when I do those, things start changing in my life, and I get a better knowledge of myself and how I work and how my mind wants to process things unhealthily. And so then that way I
Big
can
time.
do that. Yeah.
Obsession and compulsion. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's an into action program. Like
Well, we hope so.
you
Anyways.
can't think your
right?
way into this. You can't. You just can't.
Hey, you know
think your way into
something
this.
here. Here's another observation that I've seen over the years is that sometimes the smartest people don't get it. You know, I've seen
That's
some.
it. They're too
I've
smart
seen
for their
some really
own
fucking
good.
smart people come into this program. I'm like, dude, you're a genius.
Well, you remember
you're a
that
genius,
kid
and they're
from that
dead.
other- that Friday night
they're
meeting
dead.
Who remembered every one of those readings? You know who I'm talking about. He could recite he passed. He OD'd. But when we were out of the readings at that Friday night one at the hospital, that Friday night, yeah.
Oh,
He could
yeah,
remember every
He
reading.
was my sponsee, bro.
Yeah, he was smart. One of the smartest guys I
Yeah.
ever met in my life. Like we were,
and he was talented too. Yeah.
everything. Like he memorized all 11 readings.
Yeah.
every one. Like he just recite them. But you know what? Too smart for.
Well,
I can't tell you why.
Here's
but-
what happened: is he wasn't honest with himself. He's the same story that he had sponsees. He had clean time. He worked with the sponsor. He worked the steps.
So he's good.
He did he did service work. He did everything that was suggested as a program of recovery, but he wasn't honest with himself. You know what I'm saying? He did all them. He actually did H&I, came back, used that night, and died. You know what I'm saying?
utter mayhem.
Yeah.
And that's the way this thing works. It doesn't care who you are,
No.
what your sex,
Absolutely,
religion,
yeah.
race, the money you make, any
Right.
of those things. In the
There was a guy that I was in a house one with, and this dude was so smart. Like I was like, dude, you're a genius. Like this dude was like literally a genius, you know. And like and through the years, like, you know, like he kept coming back. He'd go out and he'd relapse and he'd come back, you know. And every time he's like, you know, I really didn't think you were gonna make it of all people, you know. And he said that to me, and I'm like, you know what? Well, I'm glad it wasn't up to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the
Was he
truth.
kind of an asshole about it when he said it?
Yeah,
or-
well, he probably thought he was better than me. I don't know. I can't say that because I wasn't him,
Right,
but like
right.
that's just what I could assume from the comments that he made. But it was just like, oh, okay. And every time I'd be like, well, what did you learn? You know, like what did you learn? You know, going out there and coming back, because he was very smart, genius. You know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden, I caught wind that he died. He passed away. You know what I mean? After
it's unfortunate.
so many times.
Yeah,
so
you
many
know, go ahead, I got
so
it.
many times of you know, trying and falling, you know. And here's the thing too, is that, like, you know, he really just didn't understand that, like, where he was heading, man. Because like what it says in these readings is jails, institutions, and death. And it's like, and for us to think that, like, you know, there's that terminal uniqueness, you know what I'm saying, regardless of what program you work, you know, it's all the same to
Right.
me, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
And it's
Same
like,
here.
and it's like the jails, institutions, and death, like those are your options.
That's
you know,
exactly it.
and that's the thing, is that, like, another thing I like to tell people too is that, like, I mean, even the youngsters that come in, it's like, look, if you made it here, you might as well stay, because more than likely you're gonna have to come back, you know, and things are gonna get worse.
I tell them, try this for a minimum of 6 months to a year. If you don't
Right.
like it, your misery and pain and ache
Fully
and all
refunded.
that bullshit
Yep.
will be at no extra cost.
Right,
Right, for free.
I've heard some people say, hey, I'll even buy the first one.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. You know, you want to know? You know, Tony M.
Yeah.
He did this. Now this is the other fellowship. Like, his story is this: I'm gonna do those steps to show you they don't work, and I'll give it my all, because I know this is bullshit. And he did, and he gave it his all, and he did them steps, and he's happy and got what, 6 years now.
Right.
Like, there's people that, out of spite, whatever the case is, or they're sick of hearing it, or whatever, or they think we're full of shit. Whatever the
Right.
case is, you come, give it your all, like, you'll catch it. More than likely,
Right.
if you do give it your all, you're honest, the open-minded willingness and honesty. We talked about it we always talk about it. It's like, don't cheat yourself out of this opportunity of, like, a different life of freedom. That's the best way I can say it. Like, what I had prior to coming to these rooms wasn't freedom.
Right.
I was just
Right.
at a mutual
you didn't
friend's
have a
birthday
choice.
party before this, and, like, Zach, who we've had on the show, the last thing he said to me, like,
There was a birthday party?
Derek's, it was kind of a birthday party, not really. Like, there was 4 people there. I just stopped by, and
I didn't get that invite.
I brought him some fish. Did you have fishing lures for him?
No.
Well, then
I
you
get that
didn't
Don't buy
invite.
me no fish lure.
You ain't
Right.
no musky fish. All right, you guys, it's not the story.
Yeah,
The story
yeah, so
is
what,
this.
man?
Like, before I left, like, I hugged Zach, and, like, you know, he's got his little daughter there who's walking, running around, and Amanda's there, and, like, he was like, "Can you believe, Tim? Like, less than a few years ago, we didn't know what freedom was. Like, we just wanted to be happy. Like, the way, you know how Zach is. He was on the show, like, he's just, it's the truth. He was like,
Isn't that strange how we wanted to
we
be
just
happy?
wanted
There's
to
a
be
key word.
Wanted to be happy.
Yeah.
Like,
And drugs and alcohol, just guess what? It stops working.
yeah.
Right.
For
Oh
us.
yeah.
And we do more thinking maybe this one will be that one that does make us happy,
Right.
or whatever. It's
Right,
it's
we're chasing
unfortunate.
something false is what we do.
I mean, dude, with just like saying that one sentence that brought me to tears, like, I was just like, God dang you. But it's the truth.
It's exactly the truth.
No one said it to me that way, but he's like, because he was just like, you know, we're out there free, just doing something, like, whatever. It wasn't, we didn't need booze, we didn't need blow, we didn't need the shit we used to think we had to have fun.
Hopefully, you'll be lucky enough to get the gift of desperation.
Right.
That's what it
God.
Yes. The gift of desperation. Like, and that's the end of my story. Like, that's where my story ended, was that desperation.
Yeah, and
Like,
you
and I'm
gotta
glad.
reach out.
Yeah.
You finally reach out. You get. I got put in a place where I couldn't move without my higher power, and I had to reach out for him, and that's what happened.
That's
for
how-
me. That's exactly what was the surrender for me. Of this got so painful that I had to reach out for something greater than what I was doing and what was happening to me all the time, and it just
Right.
the pain really hurt. I mean, it hurt. It was not a fun thing.
I laughed because mine was Google. I didn't know any other way. I didn't know I didn't know
What
how
did
to
you
find
Google?
how to get sober.
Nice.
That's what the beginning of my story was.
Hey, we got to start somewhere.
It's just
Look at that.
funny.
Another success story for Google.
No, it's bullshit because I could have went down a rabbit hole. Like,
Right.
you know how that can go. Like,
I know. You
so
start
I
watching
wanna-
a YouTube video of this, and next thing you know, you're watching that.
Yeah, like, wow, did you know, like, cats are scared of pickles? Yeah. Like, so I want to talk about having fun in recovery.
Yes, I was about to say that.
Well,
Get after it. I
tell
see
me.
someone. I saw some.
Now.
You can't wipe the smile off her
Do it
face
now.
right now.
Girl
Look
was
at that.
Do it,
whooping
do
up
it.
on some fish last week or so.
Fish.
Talk to me.
So
Fish.
I've been experiencing and doing a lot of things in my life. A lot of it's new and stuff that I've never really experienced or done before.
That's awesome.
That's
That's what
Doing
it's
it
about.
Sober.
For the first time and going,
Right.
oh, this is fun.
Like what?
Like sober events, like volleyball, and they have kickball going on.
kickball.
Oh, huh? They do.
Stick
Are you
ball.
doing that?
Yeah.
Have they started
Yes,
yet?
I did last
Stickball.
2 weeks ago.
How was it? Did you win? Did your side win or?
Not gonna lie, I missed the first 2 kicks.
No. How do you miss a kick and kick ball? Oh, the ball's
Whoever
real small.
was pitching kind of was going to, and
They
I just
threw you
thought
a
I had to kick
curveball,
it.
slipped you a Mickey.
It's like playing baseball and fucking and hitting the ball when it's not even like.
What was he going super fast? Like,
No, it was just away from me.
Oh.
But either way,
Did you whiff? You whiffed it?
I don't care. I still
You
kept
had-
going.
Right. Yeah.
You go,
exactly.
girl.
I
See?
laughed it off.
Boom. That's what we
Was
do.
there a lot of people that showed up?
Huh?
Was there a lot of people that showed up?
There was quite a bit, yeah, and then
Awesome.
some
That's way
kids
cool.
too. It was great.
That's awesome.
is
I
cool.
heard about the kickball thing, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that it had
It's
already
also
started.
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Where at? Do you know? Where and when?
It's on
That's the
Saturdays,
shit we
huh?
can promote on here. Is like sober events
Honestly,
or the
it's
stuff.
under Kicks with Us
Kicks-
on
Kicks
Kick
Facebook.
with us.
with
yeah,
us.
that's
On
what it is.
Facebook.
No, WIT. W-I-T-T,
Us.
wasn't it?
Yes.
W-I-T-T-U-S. K-I-X W-I-T-T-U-S.
There you go. Find it on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
So and then you
Anyways.
also do the volleyball,
Yes,
right?
I
Like
do.
that's where I believe Tad is tonight. Is that volleyball?
Yeah.
And he we knew that though. He's a big volleyball
He loves that
aficionado.
stuff, right.
We were talking about eventually maybe having the show out at the volleyball courts.
Make it go portable.
Well, that was the plan.
That's what I've
And
heard.
we're gonna have a suitcase podcast, so we can pull up with our suitcase and start do. Well, look at all you need is 4 mics and the laptop. Really.
That's true.
Like,
2 turntables and a microphone.
where you at?
On welfare, still living at home.
All right, so,
So
yeah,
back to what I was saying.
Oh yeah.
we keep cutting off poor Shauna.
It's
Yeah.
okay. You guys are kind of funny.
Oh.
Kind of.
I forgot where I was for a second. I'm
You're
sorry.
definitely funny.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, You're good.
He said smelling.
I also, with a couple friends, I've been like hiking and going on up to Duluth
Up to the North
and-
Shore,
and with
yeah.
my boyfriend, and
You got a boyfriend?
yes, I do.
Did that happen in recovery?
It sure did.
Tim's got one too.
But I also, the thing with that is, I also waited over a year.
Yeah, you did.
Ooh.
You waited till you were ready. It doesn't matter the
Right.
time until you were
Yeah,
ready.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're working on your
And
recovery,
I
your
learned
relationship
to love myself.
There you
because of
go.
that,
Cool.
Because I
Right.
give myself a break.
Speak on
Right.
that. No, speak
Yeah.
on that. How you knew, or not that you knew, but
All right.
what made that decision? Like you planned ahead. I'm not going to get in any relationships until what? Like talk about that for a sec, if you don't mind.
All right.
All right.
So, like my past relationships. Let's see here. So, with my son's father, I was with for 4+ years. Very toxic, very, very toxic. It was basically a lesson learned. Like, I'd go to treatment, get out, or like basically he was to me at that time was an excuse for me to use.
Right. Toxic.
Very toxic, extremely. Let's see. How do I just drew a blank.
Okay,
Sorry.
so I bugged you about telling us how you knew you were gonna what you planned on doing for yourself before
Oh,
you chose to go
yeah,
into a
yeah, yeah.
relationship.
Because I always had focused on, who I was with.
Okay.
I never focused on who I was alone. I've
Never?
very
Like-
codependent. No, never. I always had somebody as a distraction, and I really wanted recovery bad this time. I was literally just done.
You're at the
And-
end of the road. At the
Yeah.
end of the road.
Was it a situation where, like, with this person in your life, like, so many times you would fall back off and use again?
Correct.
So, like, at this point, you were finally serious about it, but this person in your life knew your pattern, and, like, it was almost going to be impossible for you to get recovery with this person in your life?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was, yeah. So I started loving myself. I started seeing who I truly was, and finally, like, realized, like, the things that I like to do, like,
You're getting to meet who you are. You're like finding out who you are.
yeah, like, I forgot I like playing sports and how much fun it is, you know?
Like going all the way back to what, 13, 12, 11, like from when you were a kid.
elementary school,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Some people don't understand that, like, that's what I want. Like, you have never gotten a chance to know who you are
Right.
as an adult or preteen or just since you
Right.
were in elementary. So, like, now you're finding recovery, and this is where you're starting to take the journey of getting to know who you are.
Yes.
And what you like and don't like. That's what happened to me. I was
Yes,
in my
absolutely.
30s and I was like
Right.
lost.
And I-
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't even know what I like.
So,
I know
yeah.
I like to fish, drink, and work. No, I don't like to work. And
Right, and drinking's not working out.
And drinking.
Yeah.
So okay, you're getting to that point where then you're starting to find recovery and you're starting to learn who you are,
Correct.
like who yourself is, who Shauna is. Mm-hmm. So and then what does that look like in early recovery for you? Like, did you write down some goals, or like how did you figure out to make these plans on how you were going to move forward with your new life?
Well, I have always, ever since I was little, I made a bucket list of, like, things that I've always wanted to do.
Goals.
I was sick of, to be brutally honest, when I was using, just staying in one room, hiding, running from the
Right.
police, sticking a needle in my arm.
Right.
It was misery. And I knew, and I seen other people happy in recovery. My friends were getting clean. I would get clean and then I'd fall off. And I desperately wanted what they had.
Yeah, see,
And I was very determined to get it. And I have goals and I have dreams. Like, I got my freaking permit for the first time. It took me how
Right.
long, but I got my permit.
right. Well, see, the thing is that every time that, like, you know, you failed, you became more willing. Mm-hmm. You know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's like, and that's the thing is that, like, you know, that's what I tell people that, like, they come back and they're like, oh, they're beating themselves up. It's like, dude, you're alive.
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
you're alive, you're free, you know.
Some don't get that
I guarantee
opportunity.
you got more teeth than I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that, like, you know, it's like, just keep moving. It's like I didn't just come to the rooms and was like, oh, you know, I'm going to do recovery, and I just got it. You know, some people do.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I know for me it was like, well, I'm going to try this.
Right.
You know, I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to try, you know, I'm going to go over here and hang out with these people because they have jobs. You know, or like I'm just gonna drink beer, you know, or you know I'm not gonna smoke any meth today, and you know the list goes on and on and on. You know,
Like, a normal person would hear what you're saying about the things you're saying for yourself, and they're like, "That's crazy," but for us, that's
Absolutely,
normal. That's
yeah.
our normal.
Right.
Sometimes. So, you get clean. You realize that you've got all these things you want to do, and get to know who you are. Mm-hmm. So then you start, like, you have this bucket list. And are they as little as just, like, you know, just to go be able to be with myself? I mean, what kind of things are on your bucket list? Like, go to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower type
France.
shit, or like,
That is
France.
actually one of them.
really?
Yeah.
See, I know
list,
you.
List
I
37,
really-
number
honestly,
37.
I want to travel the world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
And that's possible.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Anything is possible if you just believe.
Yeah,
It's not as corny as it. I mean, saying it
Right.
feels corny.
It can be more of
It
a
is, but
reality
it's true.
today.
because
though.
you came from a spot like me. Like, our possibility was shoving a needle in our
right.
arm.
Yeah, the only place we were going, the only place that I went was you know
dealers.
in a basement room.
dealers in the basement room.
mine
The
was
basement room.
death.
That was it.
Like, I
You
know
know?
that now.
Right.
I know where my future was death.
Yeah.
before I was supposed to be gone.
Yeah, I was just talking about where it put me.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean?
what
In a
is, like-
basement by myself.
Like to say
you know?
something like that, like you can do anything you want. It's not corny.
No.
Like we weren't
Right.
able to tell ourselves that shit for so long because we created this new
narrative.
this new life, this new truth, which wasn't, and it's frustrating. But fortunately, you find recovery. You find this shit where you're able to say like you can do anything you want and laugh about it. So what other things like Paris or travel the world? But okay, so then like
I've
relation
always
stuff
wanted
like
to hold a monkey.
oh,
I want to go swimming with dolphins.
Rob's right next to you.
Get out.
Like that's a monkey.
Huh?
No.
Cute little monkey.
Swim with the dolphins.
Thanks, man.
Yes.
See?
I want to ride an
Hating
elephant.
ass.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yes. I want to go on a mission trip somewhere
Cool.
Hell yeah.
or more.
We have a
just helping
listener who
people.
just got back from Haiti, Heal Haiti. Like I know she was there, maybe twice now.
That's one.
But one of those type things, like going on a
Yes,
mission.
that would fill my heart and my cup.
Hell
And
yeah,
I would-
and that's so possible.
what an experience, though. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's,
No, you're
it's
exactly
incredible.
right.
Like we're gonna have some.
Those
people in
things
here
are
from
more
that.
of a reality today than they were before.
Yeah, like
You know what I
ever.
mean?
I-
They're not an impossibility.
Like,
where
Did you
they
ever
were
think
a
you were gonna buy a
pipe dream
Harley
before.
for yourself?
No. Well, I mean, I think in regards to traveling, like that's something that like, cause like I'm a fire sign, right? I'm a Sagittarius. So, like one of the
That's why we
characteristics.
get along.
Right. One of the characteristics is like traveling, and I loved it. I loved it. I love it too. You know, and I was thinking about it, like, because I mean, like, I went to Washington this year. I went to California this year, and it was like, I went to Washington. What was it like February 1st, and then I went to California like a month later. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like some recovery shit right there. Because like, I mean, number one, like even going on one trip was like that wasn't happening. An addiction.
Trips just didn't happen.
You know what I
when
mean? And it was like,
using-
I got laid off, and I called up the bestie, and she was like, well, if you get laid off, we're going to Cali, and then so I called her. I said, yep, I'm laid off. When are we going? And she's, I'll call you back. She's like, oh, we got our plane tickets and everything. We're going to California this day. Boom. It was just like that, like in that quick, that quick. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, wow,
Like
man.
that's possible. And you know what's crazy? That's what
mind-blowing.
normal. Like that's what people do.
Well, right,
That's
and
what
like
That
that.
is not a norm.
But
But
like-
for us, like
for
that
us,
wasn't
that's
a-
like, whoa.
That's so
Well,
far away. Plus,
see,
we
'cause
couldn't
like-
leave town if
'cause-
we didn't have our deal.
Yeah, no, well, not that, and two, we couldn't leave the state. I mean,
A
we
lot of
did.
times legally,
we
we couldn't
did
leave the state.
but we did. But
Yeah.
and the thing I was gonna say too is that like so I went back to work recently, and like a lot of the guys at work, they're like, oh, you got time off, and like I'm like, well, what'd you do? And they're like, well, I did some work over here.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I quit smoking. I got a permit. I went to California. I did this, and I totally utilized my time.
See,
By
and that was
like,
those
Yeah,
are the
I did
things,
that
though,
today.
and we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that here coming up in the second hour. But Rob,
Vroom,
like,
vroom.
these are things like, and I'm gonna throw it in Rob's face because sometimes lately. You not as much, but you get down on yourself. We all do that shit. We get in these buckets.
Yeah,
and
but
at the bottom of the
I'm pretty
bucket.
good at it. Yeah.
But like you just said, like it sometimes only takes for you to get back to work and talk to 5 guys who sat on their ass for 7 months, and then you realize what you just did in 7 months. Like,
Right, I utilized my time to the fullest.
you did
know?
more in 7 months than you've done in your whole
2
adult
months.
life.
2 months.
In 2 months than you've done in your whole adult life.
Yeah. huh.
Like that's a big fucking deal, dude.
Right. Yeah.
And
exactly,
sometimes
yeah.
it takes someone else to maybe point that out to you
right.
when you're down on yourself or in your own head about dumb things.
right shit that don't even matter.
Yeah,
You
or
know
we're
what I
caring
mean?
about getting upset about certain things that really like that's so far over here. Like
Right.
like that doesn't even make
Right.
it in. Like
Well, my problem is I'll put myself in the category.
Yeah.
Even though it's over there, I'll find a way to put myself over
of course,
there.
that's what we do.
Yeah, and fuck that.
We're
You know
at
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah,
Like straight up, fuck that. I don't even care, man. I don't care if we're bleeping them out, man.
So what
fuck
were the stipulations for you to finally be like, all right, I'm ready for a significant other in my life?
wow, that went around.
Yeah, I took a left turn back to the conversation we
Oh.
started at.
What was the question again?
Why
Sorry.
do you know you're okay to have a man in your life now? When you were so
Well, she doesn't
codependent
know
and
if she's
didn't want it.
okay. I mean, like you
Yeah,
can't,
she does.
like you know
planned
you're
on it.
okay. You know you're okay.
Keep the show going. I'll be right back.
I suppose I can't like speak for you, but like I mean, like just say like that you know you're okay. You know it.
I I knew I was ready when.
Ready. That's a better word. That's a
There
better
you go.
word. That's what I.
You
That's
guys are making it complicated.
exactly. I mean, because that sounded
Well, we're
complicated
guys,
to me.
you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're complicated. Yeah.
Hey, we're complicated too.
Yeah.
No.
We're addicts.
So-
We're addicts. Yeah.
So, I learned to love myself, and I was okay with who I was.
Right.
Being okay with being alone.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
one of the
Yes.
hardest
Yep.
ones.
That's what I've been doing.
Yes,
I took
and
time
I
for
surrounded
that.
myself
That's what I've been
with
doing.
a bunch of females that wanted the same thing as
Awesome.
me.
Right.
Cool.
And were clean and sober.
Right.
And I just yeah, so I got comfortable with myself, and I was at that point where
You meet
I was-
someone and you
I
don't
met
even
him.
realize
Freedom.
that
Yeah.
I
freedom.
met him and
you don't even
it
realize
clicked.
that it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's how and that's what happened with me. I just took some time for me to work
Right.
on me. And next thing you
Right.
know, I was hanging around with this group of people, and there's this one gal that I really, was respectful for, of, and then is that kind of what happened with you, or
Yeah.
hanging around with a group?
Now look at her cheesing over there, huh? She's cheesing, huh? She's cheesing over
He's
there.
he's a good guy. He's a
Yeah,
nice
absolutely.
guy,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's working on his recovery. So that's the thing is, I never once told my wife, who's my wife now, Mary Jo, that you need to do this or that, and she never told me that I need to do this or that. And if you both work on your recovery, your relationship kind of takes care of itself pretty much.
Well, and I think that goes with everything in life. Like that's what I tell all the guys that I sponsor. I'm like,
watch
look,
your own damn Bubba.
well, no, I'm just saying that. Like that's what I tell the guys that I sponsor. I'm like, if you put your recovery first, everything will fall into place. But that means that you put your recovery first. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And anybody that I promised that to, like it worked because somebody promised me that, and I was like, all right, well, out of spite, just like Tim was talking about, like out of spite, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do that, and sure enough, man, like everything fell into place, and things have fallen out of place too. But I mean, that's life. Life has happened. Recovery doesn't stop life from happening, but
Nope, and it's not the cure-all either.
No,
but
absolutely not.
It's a damn good start, and it gives you a higher percentage rate of doing things more positively and more healthy.
yeah, absolutely.
And so
I love you, Kristen. Sorry I had to say that.
you go, girl. And so then you two just kind of hit it off and started hanging out.
Yes, we were actually inseparable.
Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
After that, it's just crazy.
I've heard that bounce.
Oh.
I haven't heard that in forever.
Right?
Yeah, we just clicked, and we both wanted, we're working towards the same thing.
Okay.
And I started experiencing a lot of things that I haven't before, like going hiking and like getting over my fear and stuff, and like him and
Right.
Tyler Doe, him and some friends of mine or people who I surround myself with, they push me to get out of my comfort zone, and those are the people that I stick with.
I know that you have a hard time speaking in.
Yeah, and
I'm aware of
for
this
you-
as well.
I'm getting
And-
better. Because
yeah,
I'm
for you to
Absolutely.
be
pushing
here,
myself
yes.
to do it
Absolutely.
every
I'm
single
so proud of you.
If
for
you're
doing what
uncomfortable,
you've
that
done.
mean you're doing something right.
Exactly.
Damn right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
truth because, like, if we're comfortable, like, what do we do when we want to be comfortable? We got high.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I push people, and it's like, it may come off as me being a dick, but it's like, it's
I don't ever take it that way.
realistically, it's because I want to, because I know,
you care.
because I know people can do
Right.
what, I know people can do things, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because I was that guy that told myself I couldn't do this or I couldn't do that, and I'm setting myself up right then and there. You know what I
For
mean?
failure, yeah.
Just from
Yeah.
that one
Those-
sentence, like, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. Like I was terrified of heights, and like I am now.
Same.
I am now like I'm up on aerial boom lifts. I'm walking up 6-7 stories of scaffolding, and now these guys on this crew want me to start tearing down scaffolding and setting up scaffolding, and that's like some scary shit right there. You know what I mean? Like that's
scary.
Other people's lives are in your hands.
exactly. But I'm like, you know what, man? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, absolutely. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever.
And if you're good at what you do and you're comfortable at what you do, then the truth of the matter is you can do it.
Well, and yeah, exactly. That's the thing is that if I
But
tell myself.
ourselves
You
tell
can
us-
do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to lift weights is because that's one of it helps me mentally to tell myself that hey, I can do this. There's so many things that I told myself I couldn't do that I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just well, why didn't I do this? Because
we didn't give each
I told myself I couldn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
You were living in
starts there.
contempt prior to investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
I like when Bob says that.
That's-
well, and another thing too is that
we rip ourselves off.
right, exactly. And another thing too is that I another reason I do that is because I love to watch people's breakthrough. When they're like, oh yeah, well I do have something to offer, and it's yeah, you do. You know what I mean? Realistically,
It's almost harder sometimes to see it in someone else and they can't see it in themselves.
Right.
Especially when you're working with a fellow addict or a fellow alcoholic or someone who's looking for recovery and they think they're worthless.
I love
Yeah.
being a cheerleader for
Hell
people
yeah.
in early recovery.
I
And
do.
tell 'em,
It's
get
amazing.
after it, rock
To
star.
watch
'cause
that
you
light,
can.
when them lights
Oh,
start going
my
off,
God.
those light bulbs,
Right.
and they start, especially when you start watching them when you're reading something or when they start reading it and you just see
Seeing
in their
fear
face.
fade.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, fear go away
Slowly, but it does.
And solution starts coming toward them, and it's just unbelievable to see the miracle unfold. I mean, and they do. They unfold right in front of you, and you're just like, hail to the yeah. That's my drug of choice today, is seeing other people succeed and lifting others up. That's the hard thing because we spend a lot of time. I don't know about you guys, but I'll just say for me, I spent a lot of time tearing people down, and it was because I saw something of myself in them that I didn't like. So I would
Absolutely.
I would throw it out toward them and make them feel bad when it was actually me feeling bad about myself and tearing people down.
Oh, yeah.
You know. That's,
Oh yeah.
We did that shit all the time.
yeah.
I'm going to make you feel like shit so I can feel a little
The
better about
workplace is
myself.
the
Yeah.
worst environment for that too.
Yep.
It is the most unhealthy thing.
Yeah.
And I over the years, the last few years before I retired, I started staying away from that when I saw people starting to tear other people down. I'd say
Right.
stuff like, that person isn't here to defend themselves,
Right.
so why are you even saying something
Right.
about them?
Right.
Or I'd just walk away from the situation because I don't want to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, or somebody's I see that a lot in the trades, somebody's always trying to cut down somebody else's work, and I'm like, my usual response is if you're so fucking smart, why don't you be a doctor?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly, it's I don't want to sit here and you can sit here and tell how you're better than everybody. You're not.
Well, and that's
You know what
another
I mean?
thing about just applying that in life. In recovery, I've really tried to be that guy who doesn't. If there's something I have to say about someone, I want to be able to say it to their face.
And do it constructively.
Well, yeah.
Not
Yeah,
destructively.
yeah, that's hard.
'cause
That's
we're really good at
yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Destructo.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
we are.
In your
exactly.
head thinking I know what's
Exactly.
best.
Right.
I'm watching you, and I can tell you what's best for you. It's no. And if it's something negative, I want to be sure not to say that unless that person's around. I not struggle with it, but I work at it daily.
Right.
Because I can find myself if I'm around certain people, someone will leave the room and that certain person will start talking shit about said person who just left, and I hop right on board. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. And you know who's good about cutting that shit down, shutting that down is Matt K. He's good about the one thing he can be a dick.
So can we all?
No, but you know what?
Right?
He will be a dick to that. Anything he's got to say, he will. And I've learned a lot about that from him. He will say whatever he's got to say in the open. I mean, and a lot of it's it makes me cringe. Wow, and he can usually it is constructive. And he's like, if it's something you're not trying to, if it's something that's making you uncomfortable hearing, it's probably something you really need to hear.
Manny was really good
Manny
at that.
taught
he
me-
was my spiritual mentor.
Yeah,
And
he
that
taught-
man,
he
I
was-
loved him
yeah.
so much, and he passed away.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
he was
just
a
loved
great
him
guy.
dearly. and he could actually look at you.
I got a good story about him.
He could whack you with
And love you.
and with so much love, but you're like, ow, but he would do it gracefully.
Oh, yeah.
And he would do it respectfully, and he would, he'd go, right now I don't like you.
All
and
calm.
but that would be
But
honest,
and still love you.
and and he wouldn't say I freaking hate
Right.
like what we would say,
Yes.
but he'd go, right now I don't like you.
But then I see you've taken a you're a shining example of taking from your predecessors and applying that to your life. You've done that with me. Like I shared that story about our truck ride that other less than a month ago where you basically had to have a hard conversation with me and be like, Tim, you're fucking up. I mean, I'm cutting it down pretty quick and being dirty about it, but
You dirty motherfucker.
like no, like that
So
was
dirty.
uncomfortable.
We heard
It was shit I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear, and it was not. You didn't make anything
So
up.
dirty.
Right.
So
And I didn't raise my voice,
No.
and I wanted to do it as constructive as possible because I care about relationships today.
Yeah.
And that's what the solution of recovery has taught me, and my spiritual mentors and other people who lead by example in recovery have taught me to be an example when you can, rather than be reactive.
Right.
Because we love to react.
Oh, big time.
Because of
I'm guilty.
feelings, nothing
Yeah.
more than feelings.
when I know
Yeah.
one person told
Feelings
me
are
like,
ishy.
like Bob, maybe you
They're
should
ishy.
call
Yeah.
your sponsor, and you're like, no, maybe I should just talk to Tim. And we'll deal with this because you knew you weren't going to be toxic about it. You weren't, you
Right.
weren't coming from a place of anger. Like, it was great. And on a side note with Manny, it's like I was in this men's meeting. He was in that men's meeting. It was near when he was starting to it was at the beginning of when the cancer came back.
Yeah.
And a few of you guys, we send dirty memes back and forth and jokes. And I sent it to Manny, and everyone was laughing at this one. I was getting good reviews. I sent it to Manny, no
Feeling good, feeling
like-
fine, feeling real
and he would
fine.
we would send a lot of stuff back and forth, spiritual stuff between he and I. And Tony got me real close with him. And I saw him in person like a week later. He's like, hey, Tim, what you sent me, so inappropriate. It was really inappropriate, and that's not who you want to be. I don't believe that's who you want to be. So, all right, let's go for a ride. It was that smooth, but I felt about this big to have a guy like that you respect, basically like grow up. That's what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
In many of short
Right.
words, was like, grow up, dude. Is this who you really want to be?
that was your perception of
What I mean, that's exactly what he said. That's not who.
No.
Is that who you really want to be?
Yeah, but he
Tim?
didn't say grow up.
No, he didn't need to.
Yeah.
He didn't need to.
But that's how you
Tim's
perceived
head
it.
said it.
Yeah, that's how you perceived it.
Yes.
yeah.
He just said what he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just like perception is key.
Word, brother.
Yes, John does. I think John was there because John, you were one of the ones I sent it to, and you laughed. But whatever. No, Anderson. Or I'm sorry, John A. So
Johnny A.
we're into the next hour, and what I want to bring up is some gifts of recovery. Like
Absolutely.
we've been hinting towards a lot of that, and I think we all have some we can share about.
Absolutely.
But no, it's not all. And Rob will be the first to say it's not just possessions.
All right.
Like it is the fact of going and taking the proper steps of getting these gifts of recovery. Like going to get a permit test first. Like being responsible about it. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal
Yeah,
some
yeah,
of
yeah.
his thunder. Like he made a purchase, but prior to making the purchase, he did the proper preparation
Right.
prior to the purchase, and now he's got the purchase, and he still won't even enjoy the purchase until it's insured.
Right.
Type of deal. So talk about that, Rob. And not just, I got me a new Harley type shit, but
Yeah, I got me a new Harley.
yeah, but it wasn't just buying a Harley. Like
No, well-
saving, like all these things that recovery's giving you to be able to do that and do it in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's what I want you to share about.
Well, because here's the deal with that is that like the reason that like I do these things the way that I do them is because like I work with guys and I sponsor guys and I usually tell them like hey, there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things, and when you do things the wrong way you get the same results. You know what I mean? And it's like and so therefore like me saying that sets me up for like hey man you better do the right shit too. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
So like over time now, it started to become a natural thing. That like, well, wait a minute, maybe I should do things this way. Because I know that like I know the wrong way to do it, and that is the very first way that like my brain tells me like, yeah, you should do this.
I'm not
You should do
changing
that.
the title. I'm not.
You know,
gonna, yeah.
and I'll tell you like this. I'll be real vulnerable right now at this moment. I was in my head. I was like, because I just went back to work, and I was getting unemployment, and I was like, you know what, man? Maybe you should just collect another week. Even though I'm working, you should just collect another week. That way you got an extra, almost an extra $1,000. You know what I'm saying? You could sure use that right now, and you just pay it back right before. So let me share this as
I
well.
never heard this.
So let me share this. Yeah, this is just some thoughts that I was thinking about. You know what I mean? And like I didn't like act on it, but I was thinking about it. And I had to talk myself out of it. Like, dude, what are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, nobody don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was lying to myself in my own voice, man. So like, the last time I was on unemployment, like I misrepresented $1,900 and they ended up taxing on $1,600. So it was like what? So $3,500, and not to mention like interest on that. So like when COVID happened, I had to pay like I think I was like because I set up a payment plan, and like I had to pay like $1,000 at one time, like because like I was like I'm gonna get laid off. If I get laid off, what am I gonna do?
Right.
COVID. So I'm stuck in this spot in recovery. So and then I paid it back and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that again. But then all of a sudden, ooh, shiny toy. I forget all about it.
Right
I
out the
forget
window.
all about it. And I'm like, wait, why the fuck am I thinking this? You know what I'm
Spiritual
saying?
principles, all that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just because hey, nobody would have known.
No.
The only people that would have known is me and God.
You.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like, and then I was like, you know what, man? Like, we'll just do it the right way. Still do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and needless to say, I didn't do that. But like, it was a thought, man, and I still think about doing things the wrong way. Like it is a habit that like is gonna take some serious time on. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever not.
But no,
think that
Rob,
way.
here's
You know
what I
mean?
was getting at. Here's exactly what I was getting at. I'm so glad you did exactly what I was hoping you did when I asked you to share about like these. Everything you shared about just now, it's not about a Harley, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome you got a Harley. You can come ride with us. You could have came and sat on my back anyways. But you just shared about, like, all these morals, like integrity, like
Integrity
responsibility.
and honesty, man.
Like,
Right.
That's
dude,
where
these
it's
are the
at.
things, like, people don't... not people, me. I didn't understand, like, that's something I'm going to be given back in recovery.
Right.
Like, a lot of people on the outside looking in... Like, I used to joke and be like, them guys are quitters. They're drinking the Kool-Aid, all them dumb things. Like, I used to say that about people in recovery.
Right.
But, like, what you just shared about, like, a whole life change.
Right.
And, like, into action type shit. You're telling people to do these things, like there's so many more facets than just getting a Harley.
What
Like,
I didn't realize is that like I was setting myself up to be honest. You know what I mean? I didn't realize I was doing it at the time.
Right.
I was just doing it because this is how I felt. And then like fast forward some years later, I'm like, oh shit. Like, well, you better be what you speak, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This the same thing as out on the streets, man. You better be what you speak.
Don't talk about it, be about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Right,
Don't
no,
talk about it. Be about it. You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't know that I was setting myself up to do that in the future because I'll tell you what, man. The longer I stay in recovery, the more that like I'll try to push that envelope. And like because I still think about things like that. And I'll tell you what, like man, some other things came up. Other things came up that I was not dealing with that I never had to deal with before in my entire life. They say more will be revealed, man, and I do believe that that's true. And I do believe that's the disease of addiction working its way on me. Because eventually, man, these other little sideways things that like my brain's telling me that like maybe I should act on this is eventually going to lead me to like, oh, hey, maybe you should just get one. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should just get one. Just one. That's all you need is just one.
Just
you
one
know
time.
what I mean?
Just on Tuesday.
Just one. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I know that like if I go down these side streets, man, it's still gonna lead me to them destinations that we're talking about.
The
You know what I
same
mean?
one.
So there was my phone and died.
This is a wireless charger, bro.
I see that. Yeah, no, I see that right now. I'm gonna
So
plug
we
her
were
in.
there was about I don't know 15 of us. Like we used to go to this taco thing every,
Yeah.
and I hope we start that back up. Like on our motorcycles, we would. Did you come with ever on them?
Lay it on there.
Yeah, it's
Motorcycle
wireless.
what?
We do a taco night. Like A bunch of us.
Nobody ever invited me.
You're invited. You'll be invited now. So, well, we're not doing it yet, but every Wednesday, I think it was, Bob, did we all hop on our bikes and go meet at a taco spot?
Yeah, they just started.
Okay.
They just started it this last week here.
We were doing that, and there was this one taco stand at a liquor store parking lot.
Oh,
And no, it has nothing to do with that. I'm just prefacing where we're at.
I just wanted to say Ope.
And we were there with like, that's such a Minnesotan term. Too.
I know.
OPE, Ope.
Yeah.
Bob was there. Like, we had a bunch of women on bikes. We had a bunch of like, I mean, I know Jack. There was a bunch of people there. Like some people that I see on here listening, and I was probably the one with the least amount of recovery in this group. It was my first year on my Harley, and we got to this parking lot, and we were there eating. We always bring business wherever we go, and we're in this parking lot, and the people that work at the liquor store. The one kid, they were giving a shit about running our bikes next to their car or something. But then they started playing some music that was real disrespectful and loud. Like real loud and disrespectful. And it was like my inside fresh active brain was like, we're gonna get into a fight. Like my head saying, we're gonna do something. I remember it. And I was getting worked up. Like, and I'm looking around at all these guys with tons of recovery. No one seemed to be worked up at all. And I ended up just leaving. I know a few other guys did. And then I found out like a lot of you guys talked with those kids or whatever. And I think it was one of you guys, one of these older guys that are like, we don't have to, I think it was Paul, matter of fact. He's like, no, we don't even have to live that way no more. Like, and that was the first time. It was like when CJ told me I'd never have to pick up again. It was the first time someone told me like, no, we don't have to live that way no more. And like that was one of the biggest first changes in my actions and thinking. And it sounds so stupid and so small as it's as easy as like Shauna was saying, like you can do what you want. It was someone had to tell me we don't have to live that way no more for me not to think, all right, we're gonna get in a brawl. When basically it was like there's 30 of us and we're not over the hill. If we were gonna do something, it would have been bad for anyone else besides us. Type of deal.
Pretty much.
And that's it's things like that. I like to kind of highlight those things, and it's also going into like where we get to be. I get to be. My word gets to mean something now. Before recovery, my word meant nothing. So when I tell someone I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. Bob?
Yes, sir.
That's what we do in recovery, correct?
Yes, sir. We try to be a part of rather than apart from. You know, we just want to be. We want to be living our life, you know, to the best of our ability, and the most healthy as possible, and not react, because that's the thing is there's a lot of reacting going on. So when we first come in and stuff, and we're not, we don't have a whole lot of recovery going on in our life, and we're very reactive. Today, even with a little bit of recovery, I can be reactive on certain things, you know. So, and it's out of fear.
Yeah,
And
that's what it was.
That's exactly what it was with that young kid. I started my motorcycle up, and he yelled at me and said, "Your bike's getting on your exhaust is getting on my."
It was an old bucket too.
Yeah, but it meant something to him.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he had some kind of fear there, and I said, "It's okay. I'm not doing it intentionally," and I moved my bike away and stuff, and I could have been all smart and reactive,
Right.
but I just didn't want to. I did not want to be getting things started the way that we used to get things
Right.
started, and if you don't live that way anymore.
Well, and that's, I think, kind of like not the moral of my story, but you shared about it at the beginning.
Well,
And-
what ended up happening is Mary C. She stayed. She's one of the last ones there,
And she ended up
and she sat and talked to this young man, and he said they were acting that way out of fear. because of everything that was going on
Right, at that time,
At that
too.
time,
Yeah.
yeah. And so they didn't know if we were there to beat everybody up. So they were fearful too. So they were posturing in their defense, should we say? And we were just being who we are in recovery. We're just there to eat and have fun and
fun.
BS and
Yeah.
do whatever. But to them, to them, we were a threat.
Right. No.
And
Exactly.
So that's what life is about. It's about perception, how I perceive things and how the other person perceives things,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
And-
not that. That's what I
tell.
was saying. Was like at the end of the day, what I wanted to say about that was, I'm fortunate that I found, and I go pat myself on my back, but I surround myself with people in recovery
Absolutely.
that are doing the deal.
Yeah.
Like all you guys, like I don't know what it was, but that's the group I decided to want to be around. Was all you guys, and every I get to see how you guys acted in situations like that. Like that's who I maintain.
That's exactly what it is, Tim. It's about what our actions rather than we can all talk a good game sitting in the rooms. But the second we walk outside and that guy cuts you off on the street or that coworker,
Yeah.
pisses in your cornflakes.
Right.
You
How do you
know?
Farts in your lunchbox.
Yeah. How do you react?
Yeah, how do you react?
Huh?
You know?
You
And
fart in his lunchbox.
No,
Huh? Right?
no.
Oh, shit.
But what
That's
you're
not
saying-
what we do.
No, but what Bob's saying is exactly it. It's is we can talk a good game, but
Yeah,
what's the actions you're doing
Right.
outside these rooms and
You can talk the talk, but are you walking the walk?
Right.
You know what I mean?
You got to walk that talk.
Yeah.
walk the
Ah.
talk. That's right.
Ah.
So I got a friend named Ron who's not in recovery. He's what I don't even call him normal. He's the only he's basically one of the only friends I have prior to recovery from high school, and it's my fishing buddy. Like I get support. I talk about my cheerleaders, this and that. Like he's not a family member. I call him a brother. Like I call you a brother. Like that's where I'm going after this, and like he's been there.
Fish.
He's been there for me, he supports me in my recovery. And same with his wife, Angie. They're good people. Like
So good.
They're not in recovery, but they're there to support me
right.
for it regardless.
Right.
And
Good.
like that's who I surround. It
So
doesn't
good.
always. It's you. I got to make choices regardless of where I'm at. If I'm in these rooms, I surround myself with people like Bob or Rob or Shauna, people that I see are into action. Like and outside, we still have lives outside of recovery. We have to. Recovery taught me how to live again.
You can't hide in recovery.
No.
Some people try to do
At the
that.
beginning, I did. I disappeared from my whole life for a good year and a half. I
I
had
think
no
a
other
lot
life.
of us do that. I think that happens a lot with a lot of us in recovery because we don't know how.
I was scared, out of fear.
Right, and we don't know anything about balance, and we don't know anything about
Anything.
doing things different. So
Right,
we get
it's a
really
learning
immersed.
process.
Yeah, we get immersed in it so deep that next thing you know, you realize, wait a minute, there's a life outside of recovery as well, and I need to be a part of that as
Right.
well. So then it's trying to find that balance. You know?
I haven't done that. I don't, like my life is recovery.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I mean, realistically, like what do I do besides work?
No, you see,
recovery.
You need to really think about it. No, it's.
Well,
there's
I
a lot of
interact with a lot of people who
Yeah.
aren't in recovery. Like I'm the American Bass Anglers Association District
Yeah.
Director for the state of Minnesota. You
Yeah.
know, I took that over last year. There's all kinds of other things that I do.
Yeah, I
that
don't
are
really do that.
But I do, and,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is I'm okay with that.
Right.
You know, so
And some of those guys drink, but Rob, I think you're just not seeing. Like, you go to work, dude. Not everyone there's in recovery. You live recovery.
Yeah, I
You
know.
live a
That's
life
what
of
I said though.
recovery.
That's what I said though. I said outside of work. That's,
Okay,
that's
but and then
basically what it
also
is.
so like all your music and like you're buying amps, you're buying speakers. There's things you have to do that it's not in these rooms.
Right.
Like
Right.
we live a life where you eventually have to go out and baby birds got to leave the nest.
Sure do.
Like and we have
I mean,
to.
you've gone and met us at the club. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's not a sober event.
right.
Yeah,
You know
there
what
you-
I mean?
absolutely,
But that's
yeah.
outside of recovery.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like
But-
we learn how to do that stuff.
Going to get tattoos.
There you go.
know.
See, you got to dig.
And most of them people there are not in recovery.
I would say the majority.
Right.
I just think you do a lot.
I do car
recovery-
shows. I
Yeah.
do motorcycle rides with other people other than recovery. So there's all
Right.
different kinds of things that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then all of a sudden you go, oh, okay. You know, because that's the thing is I didn't know what I liked. Like you said, Shauna, I didn't know what I liked and what I didn't like. So I said,
Right.
you know
You know
what?
who
I'm
you
not going to
were.
live in contempt prior to investigation. So if I
Right.
haven't done something, I'm going to go
Give
out
it a
and
shot, yeah.
Give it a
Right.
shot. And then
Right.
if I like it, I like it.
Yeah, then
And
you
that's
find
what's
out.
happened. I
Like,
go, wow.
I found out like I like coin collecting in the last month. Like not coin collect, but like you seen Rob. All right, so I'll explain
Yeah.
it to you on the show.
Yeah.
Like-
well, I don't think we need to explain it to me on the show.
Well,
you should have
like-
explained it to me last night when you were fucking holding up the
Damn.
goddamn meeting. But
I wasn't holding up the meeting. You were talking during the meeting when I was like, I will explain it to you later.
Yeah, on the
Like
podcast.
I'm interested in bills and coins. It's that easy. It's a hobby I enjoy. It brings me some joy. That easy. It's a new hobby. Prior to investigation.
Well,
Like I wouldn't have known until I did it. It's that easy. Who knew you were gonna be some old radio bass head?
I've never
What? Looked at
thought I
it.
would do this.
Oh,
really?
really, really.
That's awesome.
Do what? Recovery or podcast or what?
podcast.
Podcast.
I know. It wasn't
Never
even
in my
like.
life.
And here you are, just
And
killing
it
it.
only- and
You know what I'm
it
saying?
only
Here
took
you
a
are
minute.
killing it.
And it only took a minute to talk to you and see if you would really be interested in doing it, and you did it.
I was definitely hesitant,
Yeah.
I was with Bob when I reached out to you.
and I did have to have the okay. So that was like what I was leaning on. Like I pray to God they don't. You know what I mean?
Don't okay because I don't
Right.
want to.
That's the other thing about recovery is you guys taught me real early is
I don't
if-
want to. When do you
No,
want me?
if I can't if I can't be honest and tell you why I cannot do something, I got to do it. If it's not detrimental to my recovery, if I'm asked to do something, I
Right.
have to say yes unless there's a valid reason to say no.
Right.
And
Or-
your only valid reason would have been you couldn't have got a pass.
Right.
That's it.
Well,
Yes.
or if
and you
or
got a
if-
pass.
And I was
Or-
honest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here, you finish.
You were
Go ahead and
honest. No,
finish.
go ahead. You're
Finish.
right.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
right.
honest about how I was feeling
Yeah.
too, and
you were, yeah.
But I'm sick and the thing is, I'm sick and tired of letting fear run my life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotta go.
It's stopped me from doing a lot
Fear
of things
is the
that
thief
I
of
want.
dreams.
And to move forward, you
It
have
will
to be
steal,
uncomfortable.
rob. Yes. So I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you.
Right.
For,
So what I was about to say that I almost cut you off was
did.
no, I didn't cut you off. I,
Oh,
I
no.
like-
Giving you shit.
I know,
muscled through
I know.
it.
That's why I said continue because I realized that I
So,
was cutting you off.
While cutting her off, what were you
He
about
cuts
to
me
say?
off. He cuts me off. No, what I was gonna say is that like, yeah, you say yes, but I'm just saying like the only time that like maybe you should not say yes is when you start saying yes in an unhealthy manner.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was gonna add to that
Yes.
because that's something that I've just recently been doing
Doing
is
better,
saying
though.
no.
You've been doing-
is saying
yeah,
no
yeah,
at things, you know, because like like tomorrow, you know, it's like a Saturday, you know, and I told the sponsee I'd give him a ride, because he's out in Hastings. I gotta go pick him up from Hastings.
Oh.
I gotta bring him to Northtown Mall because he's gotta go to a funeral that's, you know, hour and some change away, you know, and then I gotta meet some people in the morning, go jogging. I gotta do the men's breakfast in the morning. I gotta go to the gym and hit legs tomorrow, and there was something else that I had to do that I quite forgot about, but.
Overbookage.
But
No,
it's just a
you're-
busy Saturday. I don't, you know, I want to relax.
Do you
I'd like
say
to,
that though,
but
like about also?
but I can say no now.
I
know?
give you shit. I was giving you shit about all because I've watched Rob for at least, I'd say 4 or 5 months ago. Every meeting, at least, I'd say on average, at least one person would ask you to sponsor him.
Yes.
At least one person.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, like newcomers like are drawn to you,
Yeah.
and for a while you were always saying yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And that wasn't
yeah.
my place to tell you anything else. I was just always kind of busting your balls, like, dude, like you're supposed to be going to take me through, and like I was being selfish and giving you guff, but that also you're able to say no with some of that stuff. You not no,
Right.
but I've got someone you can talk to type.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's what I started to do with that. You know, and it's not because like it didn't really drain me. I realized that I was spreading myself thin, and that, you know, it was like, well, maybe you can find somebody else, or like, hey, I can point you to this direction. And also, I could throw my sponsees under the bus. I'll be honest with that too. That's pretty fun. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, oh, you need a sponsor. This guy's your guy right here. Boom. But that's another thing of pushing somebody to grow. Because, like I hear a lot of people always like, oh, I don't sponsor because of this, and this. Like, you don't sponsor because you're talking yourself out of it from the get-go. Right. Because realistically, if somebody asks you, they see something in you that you don't see. Yep. And maybe that's something that you need to learn about yourself, and that's why that person is put there in your path at that specific moment. You're
good about that, Rob, about helping someone see they're telling themselves.
Right.
They're telling themselves something.
That's where it starts.
You're one of the only people that have done that to me.
Yeah.
Like, Rob's like, Tim, you're already telling yourself you're not going to do it. Or I don't know what it was about. Just recently, you're like, Tim, you're already saying.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was about either.
Something.
But yeah.
You're like, you already said, like, you're going to fail. Or something.
You said, I remember you said like a closed-ended answer to something. I can't remember what we were talking about. But it was like already a no.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, you're already telling yourself that.
It was about this show.
Was it?
I think.
I think
it was. I was like, oh,
I'm surprised I even remember it.
I do. I was saying something like, well, fishing's coming up, probably not going to be doing this or something. You're like, well, it sounds like you've already got your mind made up, or you're already telling yourself you're not going to be doing the show.
Right.
Like,
a preconceived notion.
Yeah, and I'd never thought about it that way because my mind's telling me, no, I'm just talking the process out to you.
Right.
But it helps sometimes for someone else. That's why we surround ourselves with healthy people in recovery.
Absolutely.
Me, that's why I do. Like, Bob's healthy.
I know.
That's a
When
lie.
he said that, I was like, I don't know who he's talking about.
yeah.
I know he's not talking about
I want to
me.
know about the pink bike Johnny's talking about.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, how about that?
Everyone is.
I got a friend who's colorblind.
Oh.
So I came pulling up onto a brand new bike that I had just bought, a nice little cobalt blue lowrider. And I come pulling up to the back of this AA club, and he comes out. I go, what do you think of my new bike? And he goes, God, it's really nice, but why did you get a pink one? And I said, what? And then I find out that he's colorblind.
So that's the ongoing joke.
So that's
now?
the ongoing joke. So,
Yeah, a couple of our listeners are
Clever.
like, Bob rides a pink bike.
Hey, I have actually put on my wife's pink Harley jacket and her pink helmet and drove her Harley, her little red Sportster, all the way down from the top of the hill of this place we were at. And I come down the hill with her pink jacket and her helmet on.
Fun. Shit, we rode nuts to butts real far. I got it on video. But yeah, okay. So what did you want to bring up again now, Shauna? I cut you off earlier. What were you saying?
Long time ago. You should have seen the terrorized look in her eyes. She's like,
I know.
oh, shit, what was it?
I'm just blowing smoke. So what?
About that.
I cut you off on topics earlier. So if you wanted,
So how are you liking your recovery today? What's all happening in your recovery today?
look at the
Shauna?
co-host.
Huh? What do you think? What do you think about your recovery? Are you real happy in it?
I am. Of course, I still am doing things to work on myself because things seem to pop up unexpected. And then I just realize that it's something that I have to continue to still work on.
Sure.
EMDR is something that I think that's what it's called. EMDR.
Is that like a therapy
It's
deal?
therapy for like trauma and
Yeah.
PTSD.
I've heard. I don't know what it. I have heard about it. I don't know if that's the right initials, but I know it's helped a lot of people
EMDR.
I don't know a thing about it.
EDM is food eating.
EMDR.
No, it's not. It's
EMDR.
Not. I was right.
Yeah, I didn't say you weren't.
Boom.
Boom. So
Girlfriend is right.
I believe a lot of that though. You're gonna. It helps you if it's what you want.
Absolutely.
You got to give it your all, from my understanding, and that's just like recovery.
There's so many
yeah.
different facets of the layers of recovery that a lot of us kind of miss sometimes. So it's awesome that you're trying to be as thorough as you can to see what you can do to help yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
and before therapy was always court ordered. Always. It was always a recommendation, and I had to follow it. Whereas this was my idea. I
That's awesome.
started getting night terrors again of like past trauma. I was letting past relationships affect my thoughts, and then, you know, my thoughts and being by myself sometimes is really freaking scary, and I like to tell myself lies, or my mind likes to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I feel
I
that.
definitely knew that it kind of it didn't bother me for a long time, because I guess I just didn't have things that triggered it, maybe.
Okay.
And now that I'm noticing it, it's like, okay, time to nip this in the butt before it takes me my
Or
addiction.
just deal with it, like
Right.
head on.
Right.
So it's like a lot of times our heads are getting cleaner. We're starting to, like Bob said earlier, like learn who we are. I'm still, you know, figuring out who I am and the things I like 4 years later.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm
it
still
took me-
figuring out things who I am. I don't know who I am yet.
Yeah, that the 5 to 10 year spurt in recovery, they say, is where a lot of the real personal growth starts to happen in recovery for us. The first 5 years is just learning who we are
Right.
and getting acclimated to doing things differently and acting differently and living healthier and being more positive and less selfish and those types of things. So that's the thing about recovery, as I'm finding, is that 5 to 10 years, then we really start to get those spiritual ears and spiritual eyes and have real serious spiritual experience awakenings, not
Right.
experiences. You know. So,
Well, and a lot of that, I think, like Zach said to me earlier, like, I just want to, for the most part, I want to be happy. A lot of this is, I want to be happy. So I'm going to read John's question to you, Bob. And I want to make this, I want to read it, and it's for you. Whatever the prices or whatever the precise definition of the word may be, we call this plain insanity. How can such a lack of
portion
proportion
of the ability to think straight.
be called anything else?
That's Bill's definition of insanity.
That's okay. It wasn't really
And that's
a question.
what happens is I suffer
But
from
I
the
was
lack
like-
of the proportion of the
Gotcha.
ability to think straight at times, and that's what a lot of us as drug addicts and alcoholics do. We also, another definition is we have those strange mental blank spots. Where yeah, and that's
What happened again?
That's an act of recovery, not active addiction.
Boom.
Active recovery.
And,
Okay.
and we
Hell
lose, we lose our train of thought, and sometimes we just
Big
don't
time.
think properly, and
Absolutely.
that's the it's the disease of perception. So yes, I say that often to a lot of newcomers. And I know that today, and that's a good thing. That gives me a better understanding of how I process and how I think. Even though I'm in active recovery, I still suffer from the lack of the proportion of the ability to think straight at times. So I rely on my higher power and other people who know how to live in the solution. I reach out to them, and then they can in turn help me process these thoughts, whether they be unhealthy or improper, to do something different. And that's what that is.
Well, and I think that's why the three of us were scratching our heads at that. Like, well, is this a question? I mean, so it's a statement out of the big book, and
Yes.
I believe you explained it really well. And thank you, John, for putting that on there.
Johnny B?
Yeah, Johnny B. Of course, Johnny B.
Word,
I'm
home
gonna
slice.
I talked to him about this. He'll be on our show eventually here.
Yeah.
He'll be a great guest.
Yes. Yes.
We're looking forward to it. I'm thinking him and John A. I don't know. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
get this room all shook up. So here's the deal, guys.
Yeah, John
Here
has
is
a
the deal,
very good
guys.
ability of
Explaining.
and deciphering the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. He's
Yeah,
pointed
the God
some
with
really
skin,
good
like
things
the
out.
things he's said.
Yes. Yeah.
He's one of yours, isn't he?
yeah.
I
I'm
say that.
I'm the one God with skin on.
No, he's one of your guys. You helped him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's
That's
he's
your
my-
phrase.
my-
Oh.
Bob made that up.
Where?
No, I'm joking.
No, I didn't mean it.
I'm
Yeah,
joking,
exactly.
I'm joking.
We
So
already talked
Shauna,
about this. Yeah.
Shauna.
What?
We're at the end of our show. See how quick that went?
Shauna.
Oh,
You didn't-
word.
you didn't blow up.
Shauna. Hey. Goodbye.
All right, so guys, here's what we're gonna do. All right,
Hi.
we're gonna go around the
Hi.
table. We're gonna go
Hi.
around the table.
Hi.
And we're not going to just be like, I'm grateful for this.
grateful
we
for
can
this.
spend a minute or
I'm
two
grateful for
on
this.
talking about what you're grateful for this week. Normally we just cut right through it, but we're at 20 minutes. And Bob, he's like I said, you're next to a monkey now. If you want to hold a monkey, just hug him. All right. So, Bob, Rob's gonna be quiet while you tell him what you're grateful for.
Absolutely not.
Otherwise, he's gonna sit and make fart noises and do.
I haven't done
weird
any fart
shit.
noises the whole show. Okay. Okay.
You might as well be.
Growth. I haven't said filler.
Sometimes quickly,
Filler.
sometimes slowly. But
Absolutely.
they will always
Quickly.
materialize.
I will show you how
Sometimes
slowly can be. Yes.
And
All right.
he's a very slowly.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Rob.
Rob, get
No,
out.
we're not.
What do
No,
you-
we're not.
I'm
Absolutely
almost
not.
like,
It's on
what are you
you.
grateful for tonight, Rob?
No, we're not.
Rob.
Bob. What are you grateful for, Bob? We already asked Bob. Why are we going to ask Rob after we asked Bob? Why don't we just have Bob answer
You're on
first
the
and then
roll
ask
of
Rob because I'll be
talking. Like,
second.
you're on the roll right now.
No, you put me on the spot.
Don't get
hi.
stressed out.
I am going to
I'm
fart
not,
in your mouth,
literally.
Tim.
Hi,
Whoa.
I know. Yeah, I just went there.
my name's Bob, and I'm going to pass
Yeah. Oh.
to Rob.
All right.
What are you grateful for, Rob?
I'm Rob. I'm going to pass it back to Bob.
All right, no. All right,
I
so,
can go.
Shauna.
Oh,
like,
get
fuck this.
after it, girl.
Get it. What are you
She's
grateful
like, I'm
for,
sick of
Sean?
hearing
Rip
you
it.
two.
So
All right.
Rip it and rip
What
it,
are you
baby.
grateful for this week, Shauna?
Get on it.
What am I grateful for? New experiences,
Big time.
definitely. This was fun. I was not gonna lie, I was very nervous at first.
Oh.
Goddamn.
Sorry.
Darn it, sorry.
It's okay. We don't care.
Anyways. Stop.
It's Shauna's turn. This is like Burning Desires, guys. What is she
Oh,
grateful
stop.
for? Go ahead.
Anyways, shit. Okay, so what I'm grateful for is new experiences, being able to make a difference in women's lives or in people's lives in general. The relationships that I have, my relationship that I have with God, my higher power. My recovery, the ability to seek, have a clear mind and be able to see things clearly, and just learning from past experiences and being able to grow.
Nice. That's good. That's real good.
I can
So
keep
good.
going on and on.
Keep going. What else are you grateful for this week? Like, what really sticks out for you? Like, I know you're really proud of yourself for coming over the fear of getting on this show. You shared about it a little bit a few minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really proud of myself.
I'm proud of you
I've
too.
been pushing
Should be.
myself
That's awesome.
even
Should
in
be.
meetings. Like, I'm like, dang it, just do it. Just do
There you go. Yeah. That's
And,
exactly.
I remember when you started opening up and started
Well, you
talking.
said-
I don't like to
remember
talk.
too.
I don't like to talk.
I remember too.
What'd you
That's
tell
so
me about
awesome.
Christmas was the first, or what'd you talk? You said something about
Christmas.
Christmas.
I remember.
Christmas Day, as hard as it was for me to do, I told my story at 2218's.
I synced it.
actually. Yes,
I
you
synced
did.
it.
And I was nervous, but
Told it.
Yeah.
yeah.
You did. I was there.
I had some
Yep.
tears flowing.
Boom.
There were some
Yeah.
tears there. Yeah. I pulled on the heartstrings.
You don't
yeah.
cry.
I do actually quite a bit.
We
Rough.
cried together.
Rough, tough cream puff.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Cry together.
But
You on a
yeah.
Harley, you don't cry.
But even just because something's hard, like,
Absolutely.
you just got to push yourself through it. Like,
Absolutely.
that's like one of my like struggles.
Do
that
what you fear
I've
the
been
most.
like working on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just made a difference in my life.
You've been killing it as well. Just wanted to add that.
You've been whooping its ass, girl.
Yeah.
Well, and after you do something like that, like on Christmas, you shared your story. I know you're nervous as shit.
I remember.
before.
Oh,
How'd
yeah.
you feel after you did? How liberated,
A
free?
relief.
Kinda
I
like-
couldn't stop smiling.
Cool. That's awesome.
I had a lot of people come up to me, even months later, and telling me like,
See how impactful that was?
yeah,
Right.
and
That's cool.
it's such an amazing feeling.
That's
When it helps
And-
us get out of our own way, when you figure out like, wow, it helped someone more than it helped myself to tell my story.
Right.
I cut you off though. You're about to keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I was.
She's so patient
Yeah.
with us boys.
know.
You gotta be shit.
We you.
I love you guys too. What I was trying to say. I hate this.
No, you're good.
No.
Think about
Hate
it.
is a strong word.
No.
Yeah.
No. You're good. We're gonna. You know what? Here. Think about it for a minute, Bob. What are you grateful for?
Bye.
You know, I'm so blessed these days to be able to have the ability to help others. I'm really blessed in the fact that recovery is a big part of my life.
Amen.
I'm very blessed in the fact that I get to be a father to my daughter, a grandpa to my grandsons, you know, a husband to my wife. You know, I get to be there. I get to be present. I get to be a human being rather than a human doing. You know, that's one. I was a human doing for years, and I mean, I was scraping and scrimping and trying to do all these things to think that I was trying to get ahead, and now I just get to be, and that's a joy in itself.
Right.
That's a real big blessing, you know. And I was just telling someone, yeah, I just spent X amount of dollars doing this around, and they looked at me today and they go, you must be pretty blessed that you can spend that much money on doing this or that. And I go, you're exactly right. That's exactly, you know.
You always share about how blessed you
it's
feel.
all about perception, and sometimes we lose sight of
Absolutely.
that perception. you know.
Absolutely. Gets pretty foggy. Yeah.
Yep. And then next thing you know, you're not as grateful or you know, mindful of them.
Mindful, aware.
Yeah. So there's just, I mean, I'm grateful that I get to be here right now, sitting in
Perfect.
front of here, sharing this moment with you guys, you peoples,
My people.
my people.
Thank you. No, hey, Rob.
What's up?
I'm wondering what you've been grateful for here as
Come
of
on,
late.
tell me, Monkey Rob.
Now that you're all quiet over
Eye
there.
candy.
Well, you know, I think I just want to keep it. It's going to be short and sweet, but so meaningful. I'm grateful for the level of growth that's taken place in my life.
Whoa.
You know, as you know, as many of my friends know, you know, like the things that I've been going through and the realizations that I've had in a lot of situations, has been very freeing, and that's basically what I've been working on, is just feeling free and not trapped down by thoughts, feeling, beliefs on certain situations or, you know, whatever, and looking at the, you know, the brighter side of things, because that's not always what my mind tells me, you know what I mean, and like just being able to grow and, you know, not let it consume me, you know, and just let go, because like, you know, anytime that I'm angry or resentful, I'm the one that's hurting, not them.
You're
you know
right.
what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna let anything get in the way of my recovery. You know, and I'm just doing I feel the necessary actions in order for me to be free, and that's not to put something on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Free bird.
I just been, you know, taking the time just to get to know myself a little bit better and just do some things for my life. You know, growth. That's what I'm
Growth.
grateful for.
Thank you, Bob. Rob.
So, Tim, what are you grateful for?
I'm gonna tell you guys something.
You better tell us something, because we're asking you a
He's gonna
question.
lay it down.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for people stepping up. Like, I get to see the best parts of people in recovery. While in recovery, I get to see the best parts of people. Like, what you three did for this show. Within 24 hours, 3 people stepped up to make a commitment to come on this show, and that's huge.
20
Like,
minutes for me.
He's gonna one up you guys. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm serious. I am. I'm really grateful for that. I've got friends that aren't in recovery that I'm grateful for. I shared about a couple that like hold me down. Like, they include me in things, and they know my past. Like, someone who knows our past that's not in this program and they're still there in your life. Like,
They're a keeper.
there's something about it that I felt I wanted to share about that. I brought it up, and like I'm making that part of what I'm grateful for. It's like they include me. Like, I'm always mindful to thank people for including me. Even I'm talking about with recovery, whether it's even volleyball or bowling. Like, anyone who's like, you comment tonight, like later, I'm just like, thanks for including me in this. Like, I've got a friend who, you know, he's doing what, in my mind, like you do in life. Like, you know, you buy a home and Like you get a cabin when things happen, or a boat. These things that I saw myself being able to do someday, but my life took a left turn. Shit happens, and I'm just grateful for people like that in my life. I've got for a while there in recovery, Bob was my little fishing buddy. Like
Fish.
he took me, he glued me to his side and took me with him all the time. And I always had a spot in my other boy's boat too, but it was one of those deals until I was ready to leave the nest here of recovery, and get back into life. I just didn't. So I was able to, and he was always there for me. So it's I'm really grateful for friends that aren't in the program as well. And Ron knows, he listens all the time. He's listening now. I'm going to be making an 1.5-hour track after this to get up there and do some help up there. So I'm on my way after this show. And you know what? I also am grateful for my family. Holy shit, they hold me down. They were also there when I wasn't in recovery. They seen the worst of the worst out of this fella, and they're still there, which I can't believe sometimes. My family is the shit. Other than that, I want everyone to know who's listening that 2218 is the shit too. This place is holding us down. They let us do this. They've got Recovery Okie going on next door here at the it's in the auditorium. Or is that what it's called? The Annex Auditorium or
Annex.
It's down there. It's going on right now. Come on down and sing some songs. We got that.
I think it's
we
the
got
auditorium. I think the one across from it's the annex.
the auditorium is where it's. They have the whole thing
Either
open.
way, it's at 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2218 every Friday night. They're doing Recovery Okie now, and that's healthy, good, fun, and they're doing this rap battle that's coming up. They've got the Ride for Recovery. There's so much shit
Cat in
that
the Hat with a
happens
bat.
down here. So.
Yeah.
With that said, if you're able to donate, just hop on the 2218
Donate,
webpage
don't
and
hate.
donate. Also,
Save a plate.
volunteer your
Hope you can
time.
relate.
Go
We
first
could use
rate.
people to come down here and volunteer time at 2218. There's always something for someone to do if they just want to be part of the recovery community and donate their
Be
time.
a part. Don't fart.
The other
Have
thing
heart.
is
Packing up my
the
bag
Gratitude
and
Cafe.
Elvis with a-
We've got the Gratitude. I'm just trying to promote while you guys are making shit noises. But
That's not
yeah,
shit.
the Gratitude Cafe goes on here every Friday as well. $5. You can come down here and get your fill. It's
$5.
home cooked meal,
a plate.
and it's good.
Vittles.
And Jane goes to bat for us and makes us a lovely meal for $5. Not many clubs are doing that right now.
Need me some vittles.
So come to 2218. It's awesome down here.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Rob, you got the burner for this week?
Get her done.
No, I don't.
What kind of a co-host are you, dude?
The kind that had 20 minutes to prepare.
All right. well,
That's the kind. What's the buzzer beater there, Tim? What do we got?
What are we talking about?
Buzzer beater.
I wasn't aware that I was supposed to come up with one. I
Buzzer beater.
figured
it's
that you
just
would have
part of
something.
being,
Buzzer beater.
Can you just make sounds
You-
for the next few minutes?
Usually it's what are you grateful for, and that's usually how we wrap it up. That's what
no,
I've been
we
used
do
to
buzzer
doing.
beater after
Buzzer
that.
beater.
Yeah.
Buzzer beater. All right. So, what's the most fun thing you've done in recovery in your entire time of being in recovery? Go, Shauna.
Why do you start?
Buzzer beater. What's the funnest thing that you know that comes to your head right now?
What's the funnest thing you've done so far?
Hiking.
Hiking. Rob, funnest thing you've done in recovery.
Drove across the United States.
Bob, funnest thing in recovery.
Scuba dive.
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, so
You got
everyone.
time to think. Come on.
No, I'm.
Yeah, come on, Tim. What's
Yeah,
what's
man.
the thing you're in recovery?
I can't be asking myself my own questions.
I'm asking you, what's the funnest thing you've ever done?
We're all
son?
asking you,
I pity the fool.
and we
ain't
did.
done
So
far.
answer the question.
Be
Under
present.
pressure.
Boom.
Boom.
Be present.
Stalling ass.
Woo.
I knew my answer when I asked the question.
yeah, okay,
Dirt burglar.
okay.
All right. So with that said, I
Dirt
think you wanted to touch on a few more things you're grateful for, and then I'm gonna end the show.
What?
Yeah.
Get after it, Shauna.
You don't have to.
Well, the relationships, like with my dad,
Grateful for a permit. Bam.
that too. My dad and the relationship that I have with him.
Awesome.
Because I know, like, when I was using in my active addiction, I would always ignore him. I couldn't be around him. I wouldn't even look at him in the face because I knew he knew that I was messed up. So
Right.
that relationship, and I'm closer to my dad than I ever have been in my entire life. The relationship that I'm in now is actually healthy. You know what the hell is healthy? You know?
Imagine that.
What?
And it feels good. It was
Good.
weird at first. I was like, what? We can go to our own meetings and not have to, you know.
We ain't gonna be together.
It's just, and I'm comfortable with that.
Cool.
I did a lot of like work on myself, so it just blows my mind, how truly happy I am, and as crazy as this sounds, but I am grateful for past relationships that did not work out because it has taught me so much.
What to do
And
today.
and it taught me what I don't want in a relationship.
It made you who you are today.
Yep.
Right. And I love who I am today.
Awesome.
Nice.
I don't
That's
know.
the good
I
stuff.
love life. I love you guys. I love recovery.
That's awesome.
I just love love.
All right, so thank you all for stepping up to the plate tonight. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the listeners. If anyone is hurting, you please reach out. Do not hesitate to reach out to anyone. Anyone, just let them know you're hurting, you need help. We are here for you. 2218, thank you. And also, next week, we've got Matt's coming on the show. We got multiple Matts. We got Matt K and Matt C coming on the show as our guests next week.
That's what you call a guy with no arms or legs laying on your front porch. Hey,
That's
Matt, what's up?
Matt. Okay, he's the guy who floats in the water. His name's Bob.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.